this is the #1 potato boss from MogPod Gaming, bringing you MogPod Podcast number 6, titled Phoenix Rising from a Puddle.
What? That's the
We didn't workshop
No, we
this
didn't.
one first.
No, we didn't. Do you want to do that again? Do you want to do that again?
Leave it like this, leave it like this.
No, I actually fully wanted to discuss this with you guys, but I totally forgot. And then when I was reading it, I'm like, oh no, this is coming.
Too late now, we keep this.
I mean, what else would it be?
That's fine.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Okay.
Back on script.
Okay, fine.
I think keep this in.
Yeah. This is the fully dedicated bi-weekly Final Fantasy TCG podcast. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. Our cast today is me, the Potato Boss, and on my right is Chris.
Going this way this time. Hello.
We're mixing it up for the last episode of Season 1.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then we got Jared.
Hello.
And we got Kevin.
Hey,
and we got a new guest on board. We've talked about it before. Avid listeners know about him. It's Morgan.
The guy whose cost stops at 2.
The one-drop wonder.
They're-
Playing in at 1 CE in the green corner. Anyway.
I mean, there's no other card that costs more than 2 in your books, anyway. No, anyway. So, Morgan, why don't you just start off telling us a little bit about yourself?
Uh,
No, actually, that's fine. No, wait.
There's a structure to this. Is what he's trying to do.
I forgot. Just read the thing I told you.
You've been given notes.
Well, that's fine. We'll move on now.
I think we'll already know about you. Okay. Let's get back into it. So, Morgan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
yeah, Morgan, I'm the one-drop wonder, apparently. Yeah, favorite card, as everyone here knows, definitely Yuffie.
Yeah. Yuffie.
So it's on the table at the moment as well. But
I own basically no Yuffies. I've been into some sort of infernal contract with Morgan, where whenever I open a Yuffie, it's immediately his. I can't remember what I traded for ages ago, but now all my Yuffies are his. I hope they don't make a really good legendary.
it'll be mine when it comes out.
Oh, goodness.
I'm trying to get those 51 drop Yuffies to make the backs of my cards.
I think it was a lightning. I think it was heroic lightning from Opus 3.
So wait. Was the trade, you will give Morgan in perpetuity all Yuffies you open
Yes.
for
Heroic lightning.
for a heroic lightning. Excellent. I'm happy to know that this is an option available to us.
I've never played that lightning.
It's like the deleted deal I did with you.
Oh yes, that's right.
Don't worry,
What was the deal?
Be able to play Yuffie.
I got a foil deleter off of Morgan at some point. I don't know why, because I also have never played that card.
The master of trades.
We keep getting Hornswoggle out of our Yuffies. These 5-cost cards we're never going to play. Anyway, so Morgan, you're a wind player, I guess.
He's a Yuffie player.
Mono Yuffie.
And
So,
what's your favorite Final Fantasy?
It's got. I will say, even though it's not Yuffie, it's got to be 12.
12?
Oh, yes.
Seven is like second.
close second.
I can respect these. Good choices. Unlike some people who might choose to recommend 13 to people.
Whoa.
Some people always bring up things they disagree with. I don't understand these people.
Hey, no. Actually, when 12 launched, everyone thought that 12 was a bad game.
Oh, those people were fools.
Yeah. And then when 13 launched, everyone thought it was a good game.
No, but
Wait,
I-
where am I going?
It's the reverse, right? Like when 13 got ported to PC, everyone's like, nah. But when 12's getting ported, and
I think it's released. I think
Has it already happened?
I think so,
need to
yeah.
buy it again. Everyone's been like, 12, we loved that game.
Loved.
Okay, so do you have any previous TCG experience?
I play quite a lot of random TCG.
No, random
He
TCG.
just plays
Like
everything.
Force of Will. Like I've seen you with Force of Will a little bit.
Give us a list.
Force of Will, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Pokemon. There's probably more.
Laundry list.
Dragon Ball
of
Z?
different TCGs.
White
I'm not playing Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, White Schwartz, you told
White
me
Schwartz,
that.
yeah. Okay, anyway, so that's enough about.
It's enough of a horse.
No. I was gonna say.
Don't leave now.
That was our special.
That's good. I was gonna say Yuffie, but that's fine.
What's our discussion schedule for the day?
So first, we're just gonna talk about our card of the week, and I've actually hinted at it. Or not hinted. I told the people that it's gonna be Phoenix.
Ooh.
The new legendary Phoenix. So apparently, Final Fantasy likes to give all the fire legendaries first.
And then both of the Opus 4 and Opus 5
Yeah.
just got a really the fire.
Yeah, with the
legendary.
Sabine,
Sabine.
he got to.
It's Kai's.
Yeah, Kai.
Guys, yeah, we got
them
those.
both of them really
We got those really early, and this one's the same thing. We got Palom, the legendary Palom, not the legendary summon Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh, and then they always they never give any information on the ice or water legend.
Yeah.
I don't
The
know.
best for last.
Yeah.
Well, they know that this is what people will be excited about.
Yeah,
No,
that's right.
They don't, because this is so early in that hype. It's when we get closer to release they want to
No,
sort
it's
of the
the
exciting.
Yeah, they need to start the hype of something good.
Oh, that's true.
Which is why
Wait.
the wind and earth thing.
That's a low blow. I'll have you know, Kefka was an amazing legendary to find out.
Magic Pole was a pretty hype.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I got no issue with fire. Fire's cool.
And this card.
So,
there's so many things you can do with it.
So Jared, just let us tell the viewers what the card does.
All right. So it is a 7-cost fire summon. It's Phoenix. It's from Mobius Final Fantasy, and it reads: choose a forward of cost 3 or less in your break zone, and up to 1 forward your opponent controls. Play the first dull on the field, and deal the second 8,000 damage.
Another fire
So
legendary summon.
sorry.
I feel like there was a silence because we all have something to say.
Yeah.
No,
How about this?
first.
How about this? I want to start off with just talking about the actual cost of the card, right? So you've got a 3-cost forward that's in the break zone,
Yeah.
plus the actual card, which is another 2 CP, which is going on the field. It's not even coming to your hand.
Yeah.
And then you've got the extra 2 CP to kind of deal 8,000 damage. Personally, I don't think it's 2 CP. I think it's more like 3 CP because having the forward dull is a cost in itself. You know what I'm saying?
Think about it
Yeah.
this
Let's talk
way.
about costs.
Yeah.
I've got the perfect other card to compare it to.
Sid Randall?
No.
No? What?
Ace, the fire cadet.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because I've already explained this to people in the podcast, but for our viewers.
Yeah.
So if you play the 3-drop Ace, and then you use his special ability straight away to cut cards, and you're expecting cut cards to, like when you use it, you're expecting 8k. You don't, like if it's 9k or more, you're kind of like feeling like it's a risk.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so you go with the 8k. So that's like Phoenix's damage, right? So Ace comes into play. So that's 3 CP, and then Ace himself is a card you could have made 2 CP with. So at 5 CP at the moment. And then you discard Ace for his special, so we're up to 7 CP, and then you pay 1 fire for his ability. That's at 8 CP, and so that's basically Phoenix's effect of you get a 3-drop and 8k to something. It costs 1 CP less because Phoenix will cost 9 if we include the cost of Phoenix being a card.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But it's obviously Ace is only your turn. It has to be very specifically Ace,
Yeah.
and then also you need the Cadets deck. And if Ace came into play dull, what would he cost?
No, it's
No. If he did come into play dull, how much would he cost? It would cost 2.
No.
So
Wait.
coming into play dull isn't 1 CP.
No. It's 1 CP because I'm relating it to Sid Randall. Because when Sid Randall, you pay 1 CP, otherwise they come in dull.
Yeah, but that's different.
No, because
That's putting.
No, but
putting
you
a
know what I'm saying,
down-
like, it's-
Ultimatia, you know.
That's
it's-
putting a downside.
it's
on
not.
their cards.
No, I do agree. It's not exactly 1 CP. It's more
Yeah.
like 0.5.
Yeah.
Like
because-
if you want to think about it, if you want to put a number to it.
I have maybe
You know?
a simpler way to think, and I think this is you're very right about the Ace comparison. But I think when I looked at it, I thought, well, how often in a turn am I going to want to play a 3-drop and Bahamut something, the 4-cost Bahamut? Because that's 3-drop cost Bahamut. I mean, the coming
That's
into
right.
dull is the risk.
That's
one of
right.
the
It's like you
lowest
attack with it. And
But
then
yeah,
chop off
or
something.
but the fact of the matter is you can do this in your opponent's turn.
Yeah,
So
instant speed.
in that like what does back attack cost on a forward? We've only seen it once on Scarlet Leone, right? So that's whatever the cost of a unique name would be.
Yeah.
So
It basically doesn't have back attack. I mean, it could do with certain forwards.
Yeah, with
but
certain
it
forwards.
Sort
doesn't
of.
really.
My point isn't so much that you can block with it, but like you don't have to commit the card to the field in your turn. Is more my point. It's versatile in terms of its timing.
Yeah, no, it is. But that's the reason why I like the 4-drop Phoenix better, because being able to block when your opponent doesn't really expect it is actually very, very valuable.
I have blown out players with that, and funnily enough, the other Scarmiglione.
Yeah.
I remember playing one game wherein my opponent had 4 forwards.
Wait, have you had this analogy or not analogy? This anecdote?
I feel like maybe I brought it up before, but if this is your first time listening, I blocked with the Scarmiglione, let it die, brought it back with Phoenix, then S'd it a couple times.
Everything died.
They attacked me with 4 things. I didn't take any damage, and all of their things died.
Yeah.
Wait, Scarmiglione, its S is a single target thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But they attacked multiple times.
Wait, what? How do you wipe a board with that?
Because when that Scarmillo goes to the break shield, you S it and it comes back and it deals damage, and they can block
and then
again.
you block the next one and then do it again.
Okay.
Well, like
So
he shouldn't have attacked that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like he
yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
have attacked. Yeah.
But my
Yeah,
point
yeah,
is, like, you could with just that Phoenix, you can the game state impact potential is so high.
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's right.
This one is single target, but
Yeah.
at the same time, there are a lot of forwards.
It's
You can-
8K.
Yeah, it's 8K.
8K
There are a
is
lot
much
of-
more
there are a
relevant
lot
than
of-
7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for dealing with individual particular
Yeah.
targets, but there are also lots of forwards that come in and interact with either by your opponent's forwards by dealing them damage or by reducing their power or etc.
Yeah.
And I suppose we should probably start talking about
Yeah.
Actually block.
Yeah, you can, yes.
Go back to Zidane and activate all 9 characters. He will
He activates
activate
himself.
and then you can block with him.
Yeah.
Fire is one of the 9 elements.
Yeah.
So,
My main thing about talking about the cost is mainly because people were saying, oh, then that's like essentially a 2-cost 8K summon. If you think about it, you're just bringing a normal 3K, a 3 cost into the field, and I think that's wrong to think of it like that.
I think
I think it's that's
I
the
think it
main
would be
thing.
better to just think about it. Ask yourself the question: how often do you want to play a 3-drop and Bahamut something in
At the same time, yeah.
And that, like, the best way to be safest about it is to do this in your opponent's turn. So you
That's
also
right.
need to have those resources in your hand, which can be awkward for a lot of decks.
Yes.
I'm
It's
not looking
also-
forward to looking at my fire opponent's brick zones though. I had enough of that
Yeah,
in his
yeah.
ice.
We
there's a
have
couple-
sort of it about.
There's a couple of extra considerations for this because I don't think it's something you can just run. I think,
No, it's
like,
not. No,
so
definitely not.
These 2 extra considerations would be to make it worth it. You've got to really make use of the timing.
Yeah.
So you probably want a deck that likes to have untapped or active backups or resources, so that you can have multiple options in your
Yeah.
opponent's turn. Maybe some sort of ping deck or something. And then also the thing you're bringing back, it can't just be a random 3-drop.
That's right. That's right.
Otherwise, you
Yeah,
might as well just play a 3-drop and the thing. And probably something you didn't plan to block with anyway.
yeah, that's right.
Like I'm probably not blocking with a lock.
Yeah.
And then actually, as a third consideration is the fact it comes back. This goes into a redundancy of cards. Means you're playing more effective copies of the card if you use it that way. If you discard the card, like to pay for something else earlier, and then just bring it back that way, then it's not really this sort of thing. But it means you can, like, if something's died, you still get 1 more S than you would have been able to that
That's
game. Because
right.
you bring back
Yeah.
the dead one, and
Yeah.
you can S it with the one that you drew.
Yeah. This is a summon, so you can use it like any time, like on your opponent's turn. But probably the best time is when they're declaring their end turn. So that's when you get a dull forward, you kill one of their people and one of their forwards, and then next turn you have another forward to attack with. Like that is probably the most opportune time, but that's not the only time you can use it.
Post combat many
Yeah.
days is
Yeah.
when I expect this card.
Yes.
The thing is,
cast
it's
most.
like, yeah, I guess they've committed their resources at that point, but it's mostly just as vulnerable as if you played it on your turn. It's just that they had less information, so then they've spent their
Yeah.
resources differently.
I'm saying like the most opportune time. That's just down on that area.
Yeah.
And for a lot of decks, they'll have a lot of pre-combat setup to achieve first, right? Like, or there might be considerations that they have during combat. Like the last possible moment is always like in a lot of card games is the best time to do a lot of things. I'm
Final
not sure if
Fantasy is
it's
actually very different.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
Fine.
I was
Yeah.
just about to say that this game sort of bucks that trend.
Yeah.
So
So Morgan, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, yeah, like what Jared's saying, like doing the last possible moment in this isn't as opportune as in other games, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
still one of the better times to do it. Like, especially just because you can keep replaying things at the end. It's not I end my turn, you do something, I can't do anything anymore.
That's right,
It's
that's
not
right.
like the
Yeah.
end step in Magic.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
casting or taking a game action in your opponent's turn just means that they get another opportunity to take as many game actions as they can afford to after you do that anyway. So there's no like short specific timing window.
I anticipate a new phrase coming out as we see more Opus 5 spoilers.
I'm
It's
declaring.
Phoenixable.
Okay.
This is another thing we have to check for each set. Right? We've got
Yeah.
this, we've got Devout, we've got.
We already have like tons of really good targets.
Goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I mean,
Well,
we,
we
don't,
should-
we don't know what the porom is.
That's true. Yes, I'm
Maybe
looking
it's
forward to
Phoenixable.
Hopefully there will be a Boron then.
Speaking
No,
of-
no, no,
I-
a Phoenixable form.
These are my predictions for the porom because generally the poroms are the same cost and lower rarity and the same stats as the.
No.
No,
That's only happened once.
That only happened one. The first time was the same
They're
rarity.
always the same cost and power though.
Yeah, well, I think the idea is they're twins, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
If you
But
listen
like
to our
the
last
cloud.
podcast, you
Yes.
will have heard me go on and on about how much I'm tired of El Cid.
yeah.
Bringing back the 3-cost twin Zidane.
In
means you
response.
get- you
No,
res-
in response.
Yeah, you respond
Yeah.
to the El Cid trigger, bring back the Zidane, and pull the Onion Knight out of their hand, or the Rigdia out of their hand.
And then you find out they have two.
And then you go, oh well, at least you don't have an El Cid
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
No, actually, that's actually incredibly relevant. Not because of that, because I found that my forwards are big enough to escape the Al Cid Rigdia, but not big enough to escape the Al Cid Onion Knight.
Okay.
So they're not really if they have two Onion Knights, you're goner. But if they have Onion Knight and Rigdia, that's still a positive. Well, and most of my decks
Yeah,
anyway, that my forwards won't die.
In your decks that run fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an important part of it.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean,
So is this your mono earth deck?
we're mono Earth deck.
Another interesting
Yeah.
thing to think about with regards to this in a lot of fire decks. On this podcast, we've often talked about fire decks as very aggressive decks that tend not to hold back their resources. So this Phoenix is a big reason to make a slower, more
Control
control-y
that.
fire deck, which is something I really am looking forward to.
I actually like control fire decks better, to be honest. Personally.
My favorite interaction that I can think of so far with Phoenix is my 10 starter evolution deck is one of my pet decks that I come back to so often. And I really want to attack with Len and Yuna and get Phoenix and bring back a Pain and be like,
All the
And
value.
then you can activate 3 backups, top deck a Lin and play it again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
You lose nothing in this.
No, I'll just play another Phoenix and bring back the Len.
Fair enough, just cast
So you're leaning to get the first piece and hard casting the second?
Yeah.
That's the second one.
Very-
The third?
Yeah. Kill them.
It's very important that it's a 7 cost, because that means the Lightning Summoner and the Earth Summoner can't play. It's very important.
Actually, coming back to Wind Zidane, there are lots of other things that hits as well, just Cactuar Orlando. Maybe you can just respond to the Cactuar by getting to Orlando. Although, no, you just yeah. You
No,
have to Cactuar first.
You have to, because you have damage for it.
Yeah.
You could bring back Logos or Ormi for your LeBlanc.
Yeah. If
To
anyone
kill
has
again, I suppose.
When you say you're LeBlanc, who's LeBlanc?
Look, there are some Earth players out there, I understand.
Come on,
From
I
what I
thought,
understand many of them are in Australia.
Kevin, I thought you were gonna go on and on about Garnet and Cagnazzo.
Oh yes, obviously.
cool.
The water cards. Cagnazzo's obviously just.
It's a fire summon.
Yeah,
Like,
it is a fire summon, but
Yeah.
Cagnazzo's just
Len! We just discussed this!
And if you're playing Palamon Porom, bringing back
Yeah.
having Cagnazzo as an option isn't.
Cagnazzo on 2K is still quite significant.
It is.
Because if you compare it to something like Black Bolts,
Well,
the
there's-
lightning card, that's just a single
Yeah.
type.
Well, there's also this 8k damage that's happening as
Yeah,
well. So
yeah.
that Cagnazzo, even just giving minus 1k, might might let you kill something that you otherwise couldn't.
Yeah, that's
And then
that's
you
that.
push the rest of your forwards through for damage. Cagnazzo's one you can use on your turn.
Yeah, more often than not, it's even probably better than Black Waltz too. When it reduces by 2,000 when it enters the field.
Especially
This one's probably 2,000 as well.
Yeah.
Even on a
especially
Fire Water deck.
since, Cagneso, you don't really want him early, so you can just discard him and
Yeah.
Phoenix.
That's right.
That's
That's
one
right.
of the best things about things that bring things back from the break zone.
Mm.
Unlike other card games about cheating things into play for lower CP than normal, in this game it's more about just you can have discarded them for CP earlier
As
and they
opposed
still
to
have
having
access to
a-
them. It's having that
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
option. It's like when you got a massive break zone, like I can
can
choose.
do
Like,
anything.
yeah, like there's
And-
all this stuff.
It's like the opportunity cost of holding on to a card to play later is always,
Yeah.
I think, in this game really high compared
This is
to
why I
other
really
games,
like
yeah.
has like Sid Waff, Andy Valk
Mhm.
things.
Did you reckon when there's gonna be like a critical mass of all these cards that bring things from the break zone, like Anua will be played more? You know the
I
Anua
really
because
want anywhere to be played.
because like when you play Anua and you like you're afraid to Phoenix when Anua's on the field because they
Oh,
can
you
just
can
discard a
just-
card.
yeah.
No, because they'll discard cards like okay that removes from field.
Yeah.
Like
it still does the 8K.
does it still do the 8K?
If the forward is
Oh
removed.
yeah, it doesn't need to,
Oh okay.
because
okay.
it chooses multiple targets,
Okay,
and so
yeah.
long as one of those targets is still around,
Okay,
it will
yeah,
resolve
okay.
to the best
Yeah,
of its
yeah,
ability.
yeah,
Not that I'm a judge, but well, I've got another cool thing. Like Semblance of a Witch means
Aye.
you can play a non-ice deck and
Have
freeze
freeze,
things at
yeah.
instant speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of nifty.
I
I don't know if you're like water fire mannequins is kind of weird
Ooh, you have
anyway.
Imaginary Champion does.
I do. Oh yeah, Imaginary
something.
Champion's another cool thing.
yeah, imaginary champ. Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Because he does 2K on normal.
Yeah.
And then 5K.
Yeah, if you have a mannequin.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
that's not bad.
Nuge.
I really like
Maybe not Nuge.
the starter garnets that you were talking about,
Oh
Kevin.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. You set up this chain of
Yeah.
summoning.
No. You play the start garnet so you can cast fairy on it, so you can activate it, so you can block.
Oh,
You could do that.
So you
or you could just cycle through your
It's a
deck.
shame that she's called Garnet because
Yeah.
then if you had a different Garnet in the legendary
Yeah.
Garnet and the starter one wasn't
Yeah.
called Garnet, that would be two triggers for her
yeah.
as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah, that's why Garnet is called that.
Do you think we can cast an Alexander in the same turn we cast this Phoenix to get hope to activate all our backups?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's possible.
It's
With
possible.
Summoner.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a pretty expensive though.
Well, one of my two favorite cards is Shulk to bring in a 2-drop to block. But then at that point, I might as well just play the
that
heroic
was-
Phoenix.
Yeah.
But by the way, I do like that Phoenix better. Not to say that this Phoenix is not good. I'll still play it. But just personally, I like the other Phoenix more.
Well, that one you
Yeah.
tend to play more aggressive low to the
Yeah,
ground
yeah,
decks,
yeah.
so it's more in your wheelhouse.
And the other thing is the starter red 13
yeah,
just
I
to
was
give
thinking about that one.
at 3K to any of your forwards.
Is that the only fire forward we've mentioned, or do we have mentioned?
Oh,
Oh no,
yeah.
there's like
Palom.
Palom's VV, like the VV.
Yeah,
I mean, do we need to talk
legendary
about
I
VV
think-
honestly?
With the other Phoenix as well, a lot of the targets you wanted weren't in fire, so it's kind of, you know how we occasionally talk about things being in elements as a cost.
I know, I think
I think it's
fire
good
has the
enough to
best
fire, yeah.
2-drop ones to bring
Like-
Phoenix.
No,
Like
I'm
Godot, who brings in another 2-drop.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Godot-
15 uses
Godot-
2K.
my faith for Godot has gone down to the ground.
Oh.
He's not he's not worth the 2 CP that's printed on.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's been an
Wow.
all-star in the
Yeah.
next
Yeah,
episode.
I mean-
that's
Oh yeah, Morgan. Sorry, what are you gonna take out with Phoenix?
Oh, if I did, I might get like Lunaf just to rush, like go for a last turn rush.
oh
Yeah.
god.
Suddenly, here's my Lunaf.
Oh
Oh,
no.
man.
Out of
Here's my,
nowhere.
like, here's all my 1-drop ninjas I can double damage. Lunaf, they attack.
Or you could be in again, I keep going back to fire water, but there's
Yeah.
all those Vikings
Yeah.
as well. Like you can spam Vikings out on the board pretty
Yeah,
effectively.
that's
And
actually my
already
stand.
have a Lunas or
Yeah,
something?
that is actually my standard deck, the water fire.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh
So-
god, I just saw a card
Yeah.
that gave me nightmares. The Cadet 8. It's,
Yes.
Oh,
he can also activate himself, can't he?
Yeah, 8 can activate
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, so he can activate himself, he can block, and then if your opponent is ice, you can just make their day completely miserable. As well as just giving your guys brave on the win.
Making ice players miserable. You
It's hard to do.
Well,
The other thing, get back
Ice
to
is
Dorgan.
generally better at
Oh,
making
yeah,
other people
Dorgan.
miserable.
Like, because you're not going to block with Dorgan. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like
but-
getting him back and just like, oh, now I've got this if I want to use it on my turn.
That's right.
I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
you have to have discarded the Dorgan. Oh no, Dorgan will die probably. So
Yeah.
if your
And-
Dorgan's died, you can
And you
bring
could
it back.
discard as part of the cost, couldn't
Yeah.
you?
Oh no.
No, you
no.
can't. Yeah.
You have
Because
to
it's a
choose
summon.
targets,
Yeah.
When declaring. That's before you play the card.
It's a little it's different from Lena. Because Lena, when she enters the field, it goes on the stack.
Nah.
Yeah, so that's the main difference. But yeah, I think we talked about enough. I mean, there's a lot of 3-drops.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
There's
Are
like
there any-
removal, disruption, activation,
Yeah.
just combat.
I mean, and also all the 2-drops that are good with the other Phoenix.
Yeah.
are
oh
like
yeah,
with
we
this one.
didn't even.
Also, that's good.
Yeah.
So
Because this Phoenix pays for itself even like on 1-drops, so it's you don't really want to be bringing back 1-drops, but it's like it's a completely fair cost even
yeah,
if you
like
do
there
bring
there
up
will be some
1-drops.
instances when you're playing when some of your 2-drops will be perfectly decent targets.
I will bring a 1-drop when Morgan Shemma's eyes.
I'll make a block.
Then that's when he has Saurus activators.
Oh yeah. Very important.
Just so we can use his Fate Mimic Go-Go.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wait, that'd be you.
That would be weird. Yeah. That's definitely going to happen. Phoenix like a Fame Mimic goes.
And then kill that only for
Yeah.
the Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh no! The pain.
I splashed Shadowlord into the stick.
Uh,
No, I slapped Shadowlord on one time.
you definitely would not like to see Shadowlord ever.
No, I do want that just because it amused me.
All of your own fours. Suicide attack.
I guess we've probably covered most of the bases. There are a few things we haven't mentioned, but
How much play would you guys think this guy is gonna see?
I don't know.
it's
We
hard
need
to
to
gauge.
see what else is
No,
on
no,
Open
so that-
5 as well,
I mean,
right?
it deals a significant amount of damage. Like pretty much excluding what Elias, all the fire summons are just amounts of damage.
Hmm.
Right? This is not an insignificant amount, and it provides.
Yeah, but
More
there's other
presence,
good
so,
cards
like-
that don't make it into decks.
No,
Like,
no,
it has to be
yeah.
a specific style of deck it goes in. I think it has to be one which can use resources in its opponent's turns without Phoenix.
Yeah.
And because otherwise you just run like Bahamut, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I think it's difficult to gauge because we're just not sure what the deck looks like that runs it, because it's kind of a build around, but then also kind of I don't think it definitely doesn't fit into most lists.
The first deck I'll be most comfortable playing against Fire Water, definitely.
Yeah.
Like even without the Palamporam, just because that deck is a little bit more controlly.
I think
You want to be
Or-
looking for ETBs.
yeah. You probably just want forwards that you're fine coming in dull. Just you're fine being phasing 1 on your turn or something, or maybe it's 2 on your turn, I guess.
Yeah.
That's probably a good place to put it in.
Well, the Mirage played with the new Tama, right?
Yes.
Which also brings things. I mean, it only brings them back dull the second time, right?
Yes.
But I mean, have you ever activated that ability? When has it ever been relevant? 'Cause you
Well,
have to
when the
activate
second
that on
time?
your turn.
The second time.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me really sad because I'm so used to the other Tama. But yeah. So I've used it multiple times, mostly just to bring back Roban or Gipple. Those are the only things
Okay.
to kind of
Which are also importantly two things we wouldn't be able to bring back with this Phoenix. But-
Yes, yeah. Especially because like I discard Gipple early on, and then late game I want a Gipple to kind of like
I'm
push
thinking
through.
This Phoenix will probably fit in the same deck as the Opus 4 Ifrit. Because you'll just need a lot of resources all at once to play this.
Opus 4.
It's the count all your.
Ah,
if you have
yeah,
four
yeah.
or more
At least in the
fire-
mono fire version.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah. That effort is good. I know 7K is not enough, but I think it's good.
And if-
and
if-
when Modifier.
If there were to
Greg's
be
a
a,
bit iffy about it. I don't have an opinion because I haven't
What-
tried it.
if there were to be a more control-y sort of build-up monofire list, we'd probably want to try and run both this and that.
But even with this Phoenix, I can't imagine more than 2, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You're
a
going to
big-
just discard the first one.
Yeah.
If you had loads.
And if you're in water, you can bring them back with Ico.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to have any last remarks on this card? I think we've covered it enough. Yes.
It's pretty
Yeah.
dang cool. I think, is my final
And
remark.
the art's going to look gorgeous in foil.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's a card itself in Mobius because that's how the Mobius game works.
Oh, really?
Like you collect cards. Yeah.
Ah.
And it's fire and light.
We have a TCG card in a TCG game.
Games within games within games.
Okay, so let's go on to our next segment, the Element Encyclopedia for Water.
Yay! Last and opposite of least.
No, I mean we still have Light and Dark. Maybe we should make a meme podcast on Light and Dark.
Wait, yeah, did we do an element encyclopedia for Light and Dark?
No,
we
no.
didn't.
I don't think we should.
There's not enough to
We
talk
could do a
about it.
secret episode.
Or we could do what we did in the set reviews and just add that onto the end of this randomly.
No. Hey, no, that was just randomly.
I
It's
think-
because people want to hear about the light and dark cards first,
That's true. They are.
and so that's why that was the first video that came
I
out.
think also the light and dark cards tend to sort of weave themselves into every other
That's
element
right.
anyway. Like
Yeah.
you can't really talk about.
There's
Like
only
a whole
two
sh-
defining things in Light and Dark, and that's that Feral Chaos is also called Chaos, and Zodiac and Ultimate.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are the things
yeah.
that really give them identity.
Yeah.
But like
Light and
you
Dark.
can't really. My point was you can't really analyze an element without also including like some amount of consideration for each of the light and dark cards.
Yeah.
But you know, even if we want, we can just make like a small 5 to 10 minute extra little tidbit. Anyways, that's fine. So Kevin, you're the resident water player.
I am.
So what is water?
Water is an element in the Final Fantasy trading card game. Probably the best element. You know?
only after Opus 3. Opus 1 and 2 was like.
Actually, that's something interesting. In Opus 1 and 2, water didn't really have like
An identity.
yeah.
It didn't have an
It was
identity.
more of a support element.
Mm.
It like types and waka as big guys and like kind of a small big guy something, but everything else was really.
And it had an
small.
ice forward.
Oh yeah.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
Wow, that's legends,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But you know, as if you talk about the meanings of certain words, you know, if you're supporting a heavyweight, you're also just carrying it.
Oh,
That
okay.
That was Water's mentality.
Yeah,
Going
yeah.
into Opus 3 is like I'm a support element. That means I can carry myself, and that's where Mono Water came from.
It's like
Eventually, you have enough support cards
Yeah.
that you don't need them to support anything other than each other.
Yeah.
it's like a pro gamer who just plays support and then like you know he's carrying too hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't. It's too hard to carry. I'll just play ADC myself.
And so like Opus 3, I was looking at Mono Water lists, and like there are no Opus 1 and 2 forwards.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What about Titus?
Well, he was in some.
Yeah.
But
I
he's
mean,
not a
there's
staple.
Ash that's in certain lists.
Opus 2. Yeah, I know Ash is very good.
Yeah, true.
But would you consider any of them staples?
No,
or
no.
whatever?
No, they're not staples. No, they're not staples, but they're
Sissel's
still good.
also a nice inclusion, but like generally the core of Water is Kagnazo, Lena, Nine.
No, it's okay. Let's just get it out of the way. Cagnozo is the card that single-handedly made Mono
Yeah,
Water.
that's Kagnazo coming out.
Yeah.
Made Mono Water, and then in addition to that, it just also happened to get all these
Garnets and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
The whole 9 package was just so efficient.
And then it just got like really cheap guys that are 7K, which
Yeah.
is just like the minimum for
Well,
elements.
that's on curve for people like
Yeah.
Mirage.
Oh wow, no. No. So what does water do? What are the things that water does?
So water generally,
Oh, it starts with everything.
Starts with everything.
It does everything.
It's like
Except, can it make opponents discard cards?
yes.
It can't. It can't dull.
Not directly.
Yeah, Zidane is pretty much a win card.
Uh,
I mean
A water card.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so it can do
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it just kind of just like steals random things from other elements. One thing unique about it is the return to hand mechanic.
Yeah.
I think only water does that.
No. Wind. Lavelle.
Oh, other than Valor, yes.
Yeah.
Wind does it wide,
Yeah.
whereas
Windrake.
Oh,
Wind
yeah,
Drake,
yeah,
Wind
returning
Drake,
its
yeah.
own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean like.
Wind returns your own
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hades.
Well, no,
Hades.
ice gets to bounce backups. Does water have anything that can bounce backups?
No.
No, Strago,
That's-
right?
The-
Oh,
Character.
No. Oh wait, is Strago character?
No, he's monster or.
He's a monster forward.
Oh, okay.
Well, Wind
I
can
thought it was
bounce its own
good.
backups.
Oh yeah. Wind.
Yeah.
But Wind can bounce its own thing.
Yes.
No.
I think
with-
Valor only bounces your opponent's things as sort of collateral.
No, with the new spoiler, Mion. Yeah, it's just the 2-cost wind backup that can choose a character and return it to your hand, and you get to draw a card.
The classic MogPod sidetrack. Let's talk about wind.
They enough about water. We talked about
Well, it
it.
can return its own things too.
Yeah. The new Leviathan
Yeah.
and the Scholar.
Yeah,
those are
yeah,
really
yeah.
big parts.
Or even just Leviathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but actually, what I think is like unique to water is discarding, like for as a cost. Like, so you draw Moogle, you draw 2, discard 1, or poo poo.
Oh yeah, filter.
They're like filtering. Like there's no other element that really does it.
Yeah.
Like,
Fire
and
has a bit of it,
and-
but they don't have the draw associated.
Well,
with it.
occasionally other elements will get end draw a card tacked onto it.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, that's fine, but like not discard kind
Yeah,
of.
no, like water is the card filtration
Yeah.
element.
Which-
What is
Another
graceful
one.
charity?
Yeah.
Charity, yeah.
There's not just Moogle and Poo Poo. There's like all the Vikings
Geese.
count. I
Yeah.
guess.
Alma.
Yeah.
And
There's geomancers as well.
huge.
No, you get the draw, put one back in the
Yeah,
deck.
no, it's
Yeah.
filtration.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like you get to find the other pieces for your
I can do it for
operation.
your opponent with Nuge.
Oh yeah, huge. The counterpart of huge.
It's just backwards.
Yeah.
No,
Here's a
them.
water card for you.
And that's why I think in the earlier opuses, water didn't really have like strong.
It's just
things.
filtration.
Yeah,
It was
because-
definitely the support card.
Yeah, because it's a bit risky to have consistency with really strong plays.
I mean,
I got that anyway.
I didn't. Well, I mean, I wasn't paying any real attention to the competitive scene back in Opus 1, but I remember hearing that, like, Earthwater was, like, the deck to beat. With,
Yeah,
like,
the Save the
Pressures
Queen deck.
and-
Save the queen deck.
Well, so could you
Yeah.
explain
So
to me
I actually remember the deck very very vividly because that was like one of the first videos I watched about Final Fantasy TCG. Yeah, he plays 3 Pressures, 3 Light Clouds, 3 Heroic Una, 3 Hecaton Cures, 3 Leviathans, and it pretty much his game plan was bring a Cloud on the field, bring an Ultimacy on the field, and just keep on attacking and S-ing with Cloud to get rid of
and-
everything.
Kill
and then
everything.
Moon
Yeah,
keeps
kill everything.
alive at
Oh yeah,
that
3
time.
Moon
Yeah.
as well. Just Moon. And he plays Guy for the ice decks. So it was kind of like the answer all
Yeah,
deck.
and at that point
you
in
know.
time, the only thing that could really effectively, I mean, not even effectively deal with 5 drops or higher was 7 cost Odin,
Yeah.
right?
I
The
thi-
occasional Gilgamesh activation.
Alexander can kill 5 drops.
This-
Yeah, but Wind wasn't actually played that much, and I think the only deck that he had trouble against was Gobez,
Mhm.
right? But I
Which
think
is weird because you've got Una in the deck.
I mean yeah, sure.
In water.
No, it's no. Well, when they break the Gobez, I think he said he had like, when he was talking about it, he said he had trouble, and his out was the Shantoto. So I think he was running. I'm not sure how many Shantotos he was
Because I
running.
remember when we
Yeah.
first started interacting, right? The deck you were playing was a Water Earth deck.
Oh yeah, that was
Zombie
that,
Emperor, was it?
no, it wasn't Zombie Emperor. It was
It was-
Warrior of Light One.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like made to counter everything.
Yeah,
And I had Carbuncle in it. I was so excited about Carbuncle.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I suppose that's well, on the note of Carbuncle, like summons is definitely another intrinsic
Yeah.
part of what makes water water.
Yeah, and
Like,
water
we've
has
got-
all the card name summoners.
And all of the major characters that are summoners. Are there any that aren't? In...
It's Rydia. Come on.
Oh yeah, Rydia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Rydia's a huge
He
summoner.
was a summoner.
Oh yeah, I suppose he is.
Yeah.
I was trying to direct us
right,
to
yeah.
like
Um,
there's that summoning thing because there's the Opus 2 summoner. I remember in Opus 2 I built a deck that was just it was a mono water sort of in inverted commas list, but it had very few water summons. It was mostly just like there were Leviathans, but
Yeah.
other than that it was like Ifrits and Titans and all these things that I felt so cool playing off of that summoner. And then when Garnet came out,
Ooh, even
you get
more.
more of this
Mhm.
like water has access to the other colors summons more than anything else.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of water,
Mm.
like stealing other elements
Mhm.
things.
Oh, yeah.
Like Cyclops is essentially a water summon at this point.
I think I've
Yeah,
seen
probably.
It played
I would agree with
I've
that. I
seen
agree with
you
that.
play it in your mono water list more than I've seen like our resident mono
Yeah.
lightning player
Yeah.
card set.
Yeah,
So-
it doesn't really work in those kind of decks. It works much
Yeah,
better in mono water.
Especially since water has a lot of well, now they have a lot of other reduced power
Yeah.
effects.
And you've got that go wide mentality with a lot of the mono water decks as well, right?
Yeah.
So cards like Cyclops and Cagnazo tend to really want to push that theme.
And now we have even more cards. Marlboro, Beatrix, Tonberry is just really pushing that.
I love
Yeah.
Marlboro. I always want to find space for it.
Yeah, it's just that he never gets blocked. Or it's blocking.
That's why I'm playing with Sync.
I
do.
That can go in the step
Yeah.
with the Phoenix.
Um, Yeah, so if I was gonna list it down, you got draw power. What's interesting about that is the Merlwhip can like consistency as well.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Merlwhip can search
Definitely.
any water
Any
forward.
water forward.
That's like okay.
That's
All the
also,
super broad things
Yeah.
are just water.
yeah,
decks.
you have the widest, or the most wide tutor effects. You've got
Yeah.
Well, with Steiner.
Steiner searches
Yeah.
an entire deck sometimes.
Yeah.
You got standard unit searchers.
You guys,
Yeah,
standard
yeah.
unit searchers, yeah.
Standard units is actually a water theme as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
definitely.
I remember
Water and wind.
there were,
Yeah.
back when we started playing, that was one of our
I love
our
the
play
mime
groups.
when we started playing.
Mhm.
Mime.
Oh, mime
Mime's
was so cool.
Drawing cards and party attack.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
It's one of the
we'd have
things
that
that-
moments where we'd have like multiple mimes. Like, okay, I'll make this mime fire and this one's fire.
I remember.
That's actually a misplay because they don't get buffed by the Leviathan that buffs water folks.
This was before that existed.
This is Opus
okay.
1. This is Opus 1.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well then.
They use their Waka buff.
Ah.
They play the other one.
Oh, that's true.
It's
I
one
like
of
the other Waka.
another thing that water really showcases as well, I think, about this game is it enjoys party attacking. I think more than every other element. Like you had those again in Opus 1 and Opus 2. There were those knights that protected your
Oh yeah.
your parties, right? So you could even have so long as you had two of them in your party, they'd just be this unkillable attacking party.
Kind of like pre-Sabine, before Sabine was
Yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I won a few games back then just because I'd have this otherwise impenetrable board of endless Vikings,
Hmm.
and
Endless
these
Vikings.
these knights that would just partner together and go, all right.
I mean, they have to block,
This has
right?
to be blocked every turn,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
not going
And
to go away.
throw a mime in the middle of it as well so you draw a card.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you,
Mars
this is
can't
like
die.
water is sort of the element of efficiency. And
Yeah, the efficient value. I mean, you've got Gal, you've got Lena. Those cards
Yeah,
are
yeah.
highly efficient.
Yeah, like attacking into Vikings at the time, it like wasn't even fun. Just like, oh, I draw a card because you attacked.
Oh look, I drew another Viking which I can just play.
But I remember back in Opus 1 and Opus 2, before water developed sort of the identity it had today, or has today rather, a lot of the time I think you and I sort of came to the idea that we'd just put Vikings in decks to fill out space as well.
Yeah, that was.
No, I mean, I
very
guess so.
much being
Yeah,
support.
yeah.
It's just, you just want to draw into the other elements.
It's
that-
the other
I
one,
might
yeah.
put Vikings in just to that final blow to people.
Yeah, occasionally they got through, and otherwise they would just be, all right, well, this gets a block for a turn.
That's funny. I think like when I first started playing, that's how I did like finishing attack with a Viking.
No.
Just to rub salt in the wound.
Yeah, yeah.
I could attack with my Titus, or I could kill you with my 1k Viking.
No, honestly, like back then, the Vikings were so good because, like, if they couldn't kill it, they wouldn't attack into you because you got another forward that is gonna do another point of damage.
Yep.
So it's like they're gonna they kind of stop attacking unless they're brave. But that's
So
a different
that
story.
sort of, that go wide strength.
Yeah, yeah.
I suppose that was the first indicator really that if we put these cheap forwards that replace themselves into this element, then people will inevitably play more of them and more things.
There's one thing, I might be wrong, I haven't thought about every card in the game in these past
Mhm.
couple of seconds, but
Yeah.
I think water doesn't have mill.
That is true.
It's
self mill. They draw out.
Yeah, it has self mill.
that has self-mill.
It can't build the opponent.
Yeah,
It has. There's a mechanic it doesn't
there's
have.
one thing.
No,
water doesn't
it's
have.
also it's Achilles' heel as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You drawing. I remember there was around the time of our nationals last year. There were all these people in our meta at least trying out that water light list that just drew
Yeah.
most of their deck. I remember thinking, I'm just going to make a mill deck. That's how I'll deal with that. Sure, you can Ultima all of my thieves. That's okay.
Oh yeah,
They've
is that
already done
Opus?
their job.
Yeah, the Opus 4 thieves. They still work. The
Oh,
Opus
I
4.
mean, I was
Yeah.
using the Opus 1 ones.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
come in and maybe one. But yeah.
Yeah. I ask this every element encyclopedia, but what element does it compare to in other TCGs?
Well, in a sense, like it just. This is a weird new mechanic. Let's put it in water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
That's
Magic
translated
together.
pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
It's that and Magic's blue also does everything every other color does. It's the color that draws all the cards.
And the bouncing. It doesn't quite have the counterspelling theme though. It has
Oh, yeah.
some, like it has like
There's
Cleone and
Cleone and
Summoner,
Summoner
but
now,
yeah.
counterspells aren't a big thing. I feel like Ice is more counterspelling just
Yeah.
because of
It's
music
more
now.
reactive, right?
With
like,
summons.
like usually, I don't know. Like usually, there's two elements that have the same thing, and this is
Yeah.
water ice.
Like,
Yeah.
Water has everything except milk, right?
Yeah.
We've decided.
I'm sure there's something else, honestly.
I think.
Well, I mean,
It doesn't have direct damage.
I-
It can't
I-
do
oh yes,
what Paladin
permanent
does.
removal
But
is a very
but-
big weakness.
Fanfare.
Yeah, that's
Fanfare. But
So
that's
another
big
card
issue.
which has this
Yeah.
mechanic.
but it's not. You don't get to point at something and say, "I want this gone."
It's got Warrior of Light.
You can like Tomberry
Yeah.
it to death.
Right.
Yeah.
You can Tomberry it to
Oh,
death.
yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Mm.
It's got Crucher Lane, which can contribute as well.
Oh yeah. Future lane.
It's more situational removal. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, more situational removal.
Leviathan's like the least situational removal.
No. Leviathan is temporary removal. I'm talking about permanent. The permanent removal.
It's the most accessible removal, but your opponent can just replay the thing.
Leviathan's the best removal in the game.
I think so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what? Why?
Absolutely. Because it's 3 CP for anything except Ritz
Yeah.
and Gilgamesh.
No, it's the most versatile. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing around Leviathan, your turn's horrible.
I have lost a few too many games to damage number 6 EX burst Leviathan. So
Yeah. And like,
And Leviathan is just like a big part of.
and it costs
Now
2
we have
as well,
more.
either by Garnet or Yuna.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
really
well,
good.
I-
It's like gets around all these break effects. Like a lot of things that like obviously it gives enters the field effects more value, but the Leviathan player just doesn't do that unless it's still acceptable for them anyway.
yeah.
But a lot of cards have break effects costed into their CP, and Leviathan's just like, well, this thing's cost a lot and
Yeah,
only has value when it breaks.
Yeah.
It's gone. Or things that have value as like a field effect, just buffing things.
Yeah,
on
that's
the field
right,
that just messes up combat
And you
suddenly when you
almost
lose it.
always just have the last say when you
Yeah.
exchange in combat tricks and you lose, you just Leviathan and negate that combat
Yeah.
entirely.
Yeah, that's mainly because it's such a cheap summon.
Yeah.
I mean that one.
It's cheap
But-
and all encompassing.
Yeah, oh yeah, cheap and all encompassing. Yeah, but I feel like other elements are getting their own little taste. Like with the Opus for Hecatoncheir,
Yeah.
that is like Earth's own Leviathan.
Well,
Like,
I
it's-
said
it's-
when
you know?
that Hecatoncheir got spoiled, I feel like that card kind of needed to be in the game sooner than it was.
Oh, you
Just
reckon?
because, when you think about Earth, it's all of its proactive attempts to interact with its opponent's board, all of its attempts to interact with its opponent's board rely on it being proactive. It needs to have forwards, which means it needed more payoffs like that Hecatoncheir to do that. I mean, it had Atomos
Yeah.
as of Opus 3, it had Robon from Opus
Yeah.
2, but Robon is a
But-
one-shot.
Yeah, one shot and Atomos is
and
not cheap.
Atomos isn't,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Cheap,
like
yeah.
having 4-cost summons is that can be ultimately stopped.
Mm.
It's not the same deal as like Odin and
Yeah, that's
Lightning.
right. That's right.
It-
Yeah. No,
you
actually,
need more ways to
when you
do
have
that effect.
when you cast Atomos, you usually have at least like 2 8Ks. So you get the 8K. But what really actually made me sad was playing Dissidia NT, because none of the summons are Earth summons.
Really?
No.
But of course, because they need their summons to do things.
Yeah, they all have ETB in the game.
Oh.
You can't
it was
I actually hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
So the thing is, right? I was like looking at the summons. I was like, Hecatoncheir is kind of niche. Like I totally understand that they didn't put Hecatoncheir because Hecatoncheir is not known throughout all Final Fantasies. Other things I was like Atomos, Titan,
would have
but
made
no,
more sense.
actually the Titan would have made sense in Dissidia. But the one that I would have been more proud of is Carbuncle. Carbuncle is a known thing, and
Yeah, Carbuncles in a
yeah,
bunch of different.
and so I think they should have made a Carbuncle
I
summon,
think-
and it'll fit in Dissidia as well. I
Yeah,
think.
like the two
Yeah.
recurring Earth summons.
Yeah.
Two Earth summons that recur. I think the most are Titan and
Yeah,
Carbuncle.
yeah. So I hope they make
So-
DLC to make Carbuncle a summon.
It's also important that Carbuncles are only really Earth in the card game. All it usually does is reflect on all your
Yeah, or
characters.
protect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Titan's the only Earth elemental summon that has existed across multiple games
Titan
that I
would
can
be
think of.
actually really cool in this area because he's like big. And
Oh, yeah.
it's really like this.
Gigantic.
Wait. Will Chantoto be the same size as him?
Shantaro gets pretty big, but he doesn't get like that big. Like the Titan from 15 is like massive. He's like many stories tall.
No, but I was looking about the CCG and I was looking at the summons. Like, oh, you got one from every element, and it's like, Earth. I was like, it's just
Well,
sad.
I mean, they might add in more summons
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point in the future because there are a lot of summons throughout the game is Dissidia NT is like designed to be a celebration of the history of Final Fantasy
Mm.
and all these popular characters and themes.
Mm.
So it stands to reason that at some point they might like add additional summons to the game. Like Titan is probably popular enough, and then maybe Carbuncle.
Yeah.
I remember the old Dissidia. There was like a whole bunch of different summons.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the huge amounts. Yeah. Okay. So some staple water cards. I know we're gonna go
Back to water.
Back to water.
Yeah.
Kind of already covered that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has things about
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But then night.
And then
Yeah.
like Garnet,
And-
Minwu,
yeah.
yeah.
And Light Zidane, staple water card.
Light Zidane, yeah.
Cyclops, staple water summon.
Okay, then how about this? Let's go straight into it. Morgan, playing against water decks, what do you hate most against playing against water? Because you don't really care about bouncing your guys. You just play them again.
Well, yeah, like my guys get bounced, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, they're all 1-drops. You bounce them, main phase 2, I play 5 of them back.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But before I added Maria to this deck, Cyclops was the scariest time.
Okay, Nazo?
Yes,
Yeah.
lightning card. It was the most terrifying card to play against in water matchups.
Because if I didn't have Arc out, it wiped my entire board.
Yeah.
Except for Izana.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
oh, you have Garnet, Cyclops.
Oh, no.
Steals
Bye,
3
bye,
every
bye,
time.
bye, bye.
Kills every one drop.
It occurs to me your board does still die to 2 Cyclops.
Yes, yes.
Which
Yes.
you can do with the hero icon.
Minerva. Take Minerva.
Or they could respond to Minerva's trigger if they really want.
What if what about Kegnazo? Do you,
Yeah, that one was
Okay,
also
no.
that one was
Yeah.
also quite pep when that came out. It's like, okay, how many warfords, how many warcards do you have? 8? That makes 9? Okay. That's minus 4k.
Scoop.
Oh, my ninja's 5k because of Maria and Arc.
Oh, it's okay. I'll just play another water character.
no, it's okay. I'll just attack with Beatrix.
Yeah, now
What about night as well?
Matrix.
What about night and go?
Oh no, I remember.
Oh yeah, go go.
Yeah.
Go go.
I was playing against this deck. I
Yeah,
actually,
I can't
viewers
deal with go-go.
The listeners can't see his deck right now, but we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
I remember
Like-
just having a go-go, never attacking with it, just keeping it there.
It just like my way to deal with it now, because I didn't have Yishtalo in the deck at the time, is I can do a lot of damage with Yishtalo with this deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
It's like
But
yeah, if they don't have Minwu out at the time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then Yishtalo gets
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shimazai gets
Yeah.
wrecked by Minwu.
Like it.
But
I'm
then,
not Minwu. Go.
And then like Black Chocobo and Party Attack.
Oh yeah, Black Chocobo gets your
I will
ending.
ignore your go-go. Leviathan Chocobo.
Yeah.
Oh.
You blocked my Yuffie, no!
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was more you destroying it, Chris, than having to Black Chocobo rather than it being bounced by anyone.
What?
Like Black Chocobo, you primarily destroyed it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like it got destroyed more by you than it got bounced by you.
Oh, it seems I've lost.
I didn't have that. We've got a black chocobo death counter. Or kill counter, I guess.
Yeah, my KDA is inferior.
Kevin, what about against your mirror matches? What do you?
Water mirrors are quite annoying. It's just,
They take a long time.
it's who gets more or Waka earlier, and pretty much who spams the fastest, essentially.
Really?
Mm.
Like,
Like,
I
it's
mean,
just the
no, is
one-
it? No, I thought it was the timing of your summons. That's the
well,
that's
would
the
be,
deciding
that would
factor.
be water against other decks, and water mirrors is just you have the same summons. You just whoever gets the Kagnazo first just wins.
You mean late game?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because generally you have a gentleman's agreement, unless one player decides to just like randomly commit into a bunch of things, which you're pretty good at. You have some pretty scary like turn 2 or 3 plays with spamming like lots of forwards out, and Zidane is a really good enabler for that.
Yeah, I've seen you play aggro mono water.
Yeah, I play a lot more aggro than
Yeah.
honestly, like the recent games I've been playing, coming into Opus 4, I don't think I've cast Lena or Knight this Opus.
Really?
Just because the games have been ending before Knight even gets to like 5-6k power.
Wow.
So aggro water, that's something I feel like when I went to nationals, that's like a lot of the mono water players are playing like really slowly.
Yeah,
And so-
they don't like realize the like the decisions that you make when you make when you're
'cause,
going fighting against.
Water is just like water has all the tools of a good aggro deck. Water obviously snaps at everything, but you have cheap guys that are good at getting through. Especially now with Beatrix, who's like an insane on the attack. Just
Leviathan, like the ultimate tempo.
yes, yeah, as an
Yeah.
ultimate tempo swing as well. So you just have that, and it just comes down to better draws, honestly.
Okay. So, Jared, what do you hate most against?
Do I need to say it? I mean,
No.
I think there hasn't been a podcast where I haven't railed against Min Woo. Gosh. I mean, so
Oh god.
I'm gonna bring it up again.
Here we go again.
What makes Min Woo difficult to interact with is it is a backup. Lhasa, which has the same effect and is in my mind on pretty much every axis a more interesting card, I can deal with, and it'll be like a minor roadblock, but ultimately not something that, as a fire player, I can't interact with that shuts me down, which is what Min Woo is. So, like being forced away from, and I know if you've watched our most recent Spotlight Showdown episode, you will have seen like what the water players force us fire players to do is to run 3 copies of an 8-cost dark card, which I mean I like Sephiroth just as much as the next Final Fantasy VII fanboy, but I want to play other cards. I want to play the new Light Cloud. I want to play Warrior Blade. I want to play Zidane sometimes. But the fact that so many of like my like go-to gameplay elements, answers to cards are shut down by this one water card that is really easy to just run in mono water decks, and if you just like part water, if you're going down the support road, it's just so that's what I hate most.
Nice to know.
It's almost like a ghoul.
I've actually never thought about that before. I've never heard
Right,
of a hateful
it's-
Min Woo.
really?
Yeah,
I mean,
it seems to me.
This is a. It's maybe I should just have a recurring segment on this show. Jared hates Min Woo.
Just get yourself like a shirt as well. I hate Min Woo.
I should commission Yoshitaka Amano to make some art of him dying.
Oh, him dying.
Sephiroth.
Oh, it's
a picture of.
That's actually really.
That would
I
be
might
really
just
cool.
make that,
No, and then in the back, it's Yagrush.
And that's the other thing. They could protect him. Why do they get that too?
Like it's always if we play another Min Woo, there's something to play another Sephiroth.
And to add insult to injury, Fire gets the 6-drop Auron. Oh, not the 6-drop, the 5-drop Auron, which says, "Oh, you can't target my backups."
Oh yeah.
The fun thing is like it's so easy for them to play another Min Woo than it is for you to play another 8-drop Sephiroth as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, I play 8-drop Sephiroth,
I'm
kill your
going
Min
to
Woo.
spend
Okay.
8 CP worth of card to get rid of a 3-drop.
It's an 8
That
first check.
Yeah, that's true.
And it makes your Zodiac cheap.
No,
that it does.
the only problem there when they play it again is that you're gonna have to kill your Sephiroth in some way
Well,
to play it again to kill the Min Woo.
And with Zodiac also, Chris, it deals you a damage for each thing it kills, right?
Yeah.
Against the water player, how many things are we killing? Like,
Similar to my play.
Yeah.
5?
If you're playing against
and
Morgan,
you
you're
keep
playing
their cards under
12.
control by burning them, and they can until ping them. Wait a second.
It's gotten a lot better
Yeah.
with access to like Bahamut. Like just that little kick up has really made it.
They definitely have to print tools for Fire every set to get over Min Woo.
Yeah, because every time we print more water cards, they're bigger.
I've said this before, but I think Mono Fire is at a very good place.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's a very good place.
Like I love playing Monofire. The only cards that really grind my gears are Min Woo and maybe like some monsters like Ghoul that we otherwise just can't kill.
Okay.
Like being forced to run non-fire cards to interact with a card type that we otherwise won't be able to interact with is just frustrating. Because I mean, especially when you look at water, which can interact with everything minus backups.
Yeah.
Duh.
Alright, let's move on.
Oh, wait.
Wait, no. no. Let's move on, like from your rant.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, the Chris is in the point of terror.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think I know
Next
what
thing,
Chris's,
go, Chris,
I
you
think
know.
I know what Chris's water
It
card
does.
is going
Kevin
to
Okay.
does for sure.
So yeah, what is it, Chris?
There's actually 2 cards.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's one which I, in theory, should hate, but actually quite like. So, the card I hate the most from water is Zidane.
Okay, yeah.
Because it activates things en masse, and I can only interact with dull forwards, other than dulling them.
Yeah.
And then the other card is Porom, which activates all of your forwards.
Yeah.
And then you got to worry about Curaga randomly as well. So these 2 cards are the cards which I hate the most.
Okay.
But I guess Porom bleeds into 2 cards because there's the 1-drop Porom which can just become
The 4-drop.
Porom,
Yeah.
summon speed. And then the 3rd card, which is like I like it, like it's fine to be there still. It's fairy,
yeah.
because
Fairy.
because it activates something surprisingly. Like I'm fine with Ash. Ash is really cool. I like versing Ash, as I've mentioned before.
And
But
astrologian.
an Astrologian.
Just
these
bait it
things.
out and
Yeah.
make them way through.
But when there's a surprise fairy that wasn't in my calculations, because not everyone plays fairy as well. That's why it's
Yeah.
even more of a surprise.
Yeah.
It's against Tony. He had a surprise fairy.
Yeah.
So I like it because it's cool. I like those moments in the game. You're actually fighting over something,
Yes, yeah.
and it feels fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
really.
well, what I
It's a
remember
fairy.
was in Opus 3 when the Wednesday came out,
Yeah.
Jared was so excited because he's like, the very first thing he's going to do is make sure that they don't have a fairy. Right? Yeah, you or is it you?
I think that would be him.
Was it you?
Was it me?
Oh, one of you.
Chris
One
is
of
one
you.
like was trying to
I
trick the Zidanes.
Yeah, I
Like-
play an Icewind deck, not to take out fairy as much, but just says.
Take out
I
your
I played
cards.
Sid Bald and Polendina.
Oh, yeah,
so
Sid
I could see the
Polendina.
hand, so I knew I could
Yeah.
play my Minerva.
Yeah.
And it's still
This
interesting.
is starting to feel like a support group.
Yeah.
I'm Jared, I'm a fire player. This is how water has hurt me. Hello, I'm Chris, I'm an ice player. This is how water has hurt me.
Oh, I find like playing against these things. Like it's I think some of my best matches. No offense to anybody else, I've been against Kevin. Like the ice or ice lightning versus mono water. They're so interesting. They're so deep.
So much interaction.
There is.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so much to consider. Like I said, Leviathan makes my turns take 10 times longer because I have to think about what happens if this gets Leviathan.
Yeah.
What happens if this gets
and,
Leviathan.
but the side effect is all my forwards die to Zelda.
Yeah, they're all 5% go-go.
Or Porom, right?
Yeah, if he's smoking, but he didn't always run Porom.
I think my favorite game was against you and I was
So-
playing
so
water.
I was running Porom before I found out that Zidane is just like that insane when activating your forward.
Yeah.
It's actually like against ice it shuts down your entire dull strategy.
Yeah.
But like against other elements as well, it just gives all you guys
Because
brave.
it also counters the freeze
Yeah,
aspect
yeah.
as well, like which is usually costed into cards that they're frozen something. So it takes away a lot of value that I can generate. But like I said, I like interaction in the card game, so it's cool.
They make the game just more engaging.
It's just that Zidane's it also activates the back.
Yeah.
Like they also get all the resources back.
Yeah.
So you can't even like freeze it with
Yeah.
Celeste.
And especially now that I'm
Yeah.
running 5 Leviathans, I just Leviathan
That-
every turn.
Actually, yeah, but funny that you mentioned that, the freezing with Celeste. I will choose the non-category 9 backups.
Oh,
when I'm
okay,
freezing with
yeah.
Celeste. Or if I'm freezing
Just
with
on the
Porom.
off chance that he has it next turn.
It's not an off chance.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty likely.
It's a category 9 forward.
Even if it's on board, I can just Leviathan.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you run
like
the,
I do,
Yeah.
Do you run the Leviathan that like targets one of your
Yeah.
forwards?
I've been
Yeah.
running 5 Leviathans.
Okay.
and-
Like
Yeah,
there was a time where he used the Opus 1 Leviathan to Leviathan his own Zidane, and it was a really good play. Like that,
Yeah.
did that win the game?
Yeah, that did win.
Yeah, like using it on his own Zidane rather than my
Some forward.
All this
Yeah.
extra
Yeah.
versatility.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so like just using Opus 4 Leviathan and just get an extra free Leviathan out of the same play.
And then
Yeah.
mono water players regularly Leviathan their own Cagnazo as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
but of course, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Does the Leviathan that like does it target opponent's thing and one of yours?
Yeah, it
Okay.
has to target both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't target 2 of your own.
No.
Personally for me, I mean, the reason I'd like it's the same thing, Leviathans. I really don't like Leviathans, but like
We got
obviously,
a lot of
but
those.
obviously like
yeah.
you know there's a counterplay of like when they Leviathan stuff. That's all fine. That's all fair game, right? That's all. But the thing that annoys me is that it's essentially a 5-drop hate card. like in itself, because when you're playing those 5-drop or more cards, like you're gonna have to keep in mind that like if they Leviathan it, you lost all this value. It's
Especially if they're ones with just like a static effect without an ETB.
Yeah,
We were
exactly,
talking
exactly.
before about, water doesn't get to make you discard cards directly, but like Leviathan and its various like brother and sister bounce effects.
We have a lot of brother and sister bounce.
Yeah.
Well,
Strago, Sildra.
Those are just if anytime you bounce something that anyone discarded any cards for, you have effectively made your opponent discard cards.
It's essentially a 4-drop is not so bad. Like say you play a vanilla 4-drop and then on their turn they just play Leviathan. It's not too bad. Like if they don't capitalize on you Leviathan, like that's not bad. But if I play a 5-drop and they just Leviathan it just like the thing, and that 5-drop didn't do anything while entering the field, you just like that's huge. Like you've lost a lot of tempo.
What's worse is most of the time it's not getting randomly Leviathan. It's gonna like something crucial's happening.
Obviously, yeah.
Like, what you're saying is it's bad enough if it just happens randomly.
Yeah.
Like you play the card and then instantly it's Leviathan. But that's not even happening.
No, that's not even happening. Exactly.
Missing something into it.
Yeah.
Like those EX burst Leviathans. You can't plan for it.
Yeah, those are the random.
It's
You can, like choosing what you tackle first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the reason why, like the legendary Zarek, Shantoto, Zande, or like for me, like these are cards. I don't play Zande as much because I'm not Minerva. Yeah, like even like I would play Minerva so much more. Like I don't care about Vayne. Vayne can dull it and freeze it for all day. But it's the Leviathans that I'm afraid of, But even the new Shantoto, like that Shantoto, I've gone a new leaf and I actually really like it. But I have to put into considerations like, what if they have Leviathan?
This funny symbiosis I feel I got going with water now. Because Leviathan exists and water decks exist and they're good, so you can expect to verse Leviathan, so you don't want to play Minerva.
Yeah.
A turn 1 Minerva is actually really good against ice. And so they're like less likelihood of people playing it in their decks. It's like, you.
Anyways, so that's my little rant. Is that I love 5-drops, 5-drops and higher forwards, but it's just it got a little mitigated by the new Presh. Like even if you play the 5 or 6-drop from the new Presh, if the Leviathan, it's not too bad.
You didn't invest.
You paid enough CP plus that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyways, so I actually want to talk about the spoiler that got released today about the Refia.
Yep.
So Kevin, do you want to tell us what the card does?
I'm putting my money down to go next after Kevin. I have something to say about this.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay.
No worries.
So this is the new 3-cost Refia. She's Job Warrior of Light. She's 7k and she reads: the Job Warrior of Light forwards and water forwards other than Refia you control gain 1000 power. And she has an action ability: deal a total of 5 active water forwards or water backups. Choose one forward opponent controls, return it to its owner's hand.
Yeah, so
Leviathan on demand plus power booster and Warrior of Light support.
it's like the new water card.
Yeah.
Like, there's old water cards. This is the definition of a new
I think
water card.
This can spawn a new archetype and also just go into existing water decks.
So Chris, what did you want to say? What did you want to go?
That's sort of leading from that, like this new archetype. Like I feel like this is going to be mono water's shift, right? Like there would be greater variety of mono water decks.
That's right, yeah.
Like because you can really spec into this, or you can stick with category 9, which I can't imagine that becoming bad.
Oh no, definitely not, definitely not.
Even then, right? You were talking about your hatred of Zidane, right? Who can activate all these things. He can activate a bunch of water characters.
Yeah, so this is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yes, what I was talking about you earlier. It's that. Yeah, Zidane activating things, of course, but because activating your forwards will be really nice with this card already, you'll naturally already want it, not just for hate strategies.
Yes.
Which means then Porom becomes a really good consideration with
Yeah,
this
definitely.
card.
Yeah.
And now I've got to deal with more Poroms. Like,
It's terrifying.
if they're going around,
What
and
this
then
might
we're
mean.
probably expecting some Porom in this
Yeah,
set,
and then
right?
that's gonna
Which
synergize with the old
maybe that
Porom.
would be good.
More of a reason to
Yeah.
run more.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then, but yeah, like Kevin was saying, it can still exist within like a 9 mono water. And also, I was saying in our chat earlier, it's so hard to attack past like the obvious deck that this will go with, like with a Warrior of Light instead of Zidane. Right?
Yes.
It's the light slot is actually now got contention.
Yeah, that's good.
Again,
That's what I like.
but it's still going to be fine with either of them.
Yeah.
But if it's going with the Warrior of Light one, that's so hard to attack past because it's buffed the Warrior of Light, right?
Yeah.
And it takes
so-
less damage.
Yeah, and the Warrior of Light takes less damage. So then you've got to do 11k.
To the Warrior of
11K
Light.
forward to kill the Warrior of Light if they block with it.
They usually have Minwoo.
And now they have they usually have Minwoo. Minwoo's a water backup,
Which you can dull.
which you can do for
Yeah.
for Refia. So all you need is like the four water backups, Refia, and then this Warrior of Light, and you've got to party, but you've got to overcommit to the party so that if the best thing gets taken out of the party, you still kill the Warrior of Light. And then they say, okay, I let it through. So it's just like all three.
Yeah.
But I've become accustomed to attacking with three things now against fire and water. They let mine through. They discard 2 cards.
Yeah.
But it's still like, and then if you have a forward that's actually 11k, nothing in this game is 11k without a buff. And if you're not getting it from backups, you probably get like a K from backups. You're probably not. Your 11k forward probably isn't Feral Chaos or Minerva with a Maria. It's probably it's probably getting buffed by a forward somewhere. Which means they can interrupt that mid
More often than
combat
not,
with
with
the Leviathan effect. That's on Refia. Or failing that, they can just bounce the 11k, which might be like. So I anticipate it being very tricky to deal with.
I also wonder if because this is obviously going to impact mono water lists, but I was thinking back to like early Opus 3 and most of Opus 2 when sort of the ascended deck was wind water, right? And a lot of the time then they played Warriors of Light and things like that. And then when like the starter decks for Opus 3 came out, there were a lot of wind water decks that were experimenting shifting from Warrior of Light to Zidane. So this, I wonder if we'll see a resurgence of those kinds of like wind water decks in addition to the obvious like mono water lists.
Yeah, because in wind water decks you can have a 10k Warrior of Light.
Exactly. Right? You get
like the Warrior of Light in itself. Like obviously I love that card, but it's hard to get rid of. But also its S is very very efficient. Like S one CP of any color is very efficient, and then now it deals 9k. Now it deals 10k. It's like
Well, even if it's just a 9k mono water. You've given that permanent removal. Like in mono water, and I think this card is powerful enough to make Warrior of Light a consideration over the day.
And also it just has like so much power in one card because just looking at the second ability, it's insanely slow because you need like quite a few backups because you don't want to be dulling your entire forward line just to the light.
True.
But so that's really slow. But then you have this incredibly fast first ability that just like
I think this is why the decks would want Porum or Zidane in their lights up, so you can actually still attack and then have these things up to use the effect. The other thing as well with this is against fire, for example. How do they kill either Refia or Warrior of Light if they're both in there? With them in room, of course.
Oh god.
So it requires 10k in that instance, right?
Well,
just
even
like attack
Refia-
with Savine
even
or something.
Refia needs 9k without a Walker buffing her.
I mean, like even if you attack with Sabine, then you have to like buff Sabine, and then they can just bounce at Sabine.
Well, even like there are instances where an even Bahamut is gonna struggle to like the original Bahamut's gonna struggle to.
Especially if they just have guns
People-
randomly buffing things.
I read some comments on Facebook, and they said that there's like this the Leviathan is like too costly.
It is pretty costly.
Oh, really?
Because
Because-
ideally you just use 5 backups, but that means you can't play anything else because all your things are
I mean, like, like, obviously it has to be water, and obviously it's backups and forwards. But like, you think about it, if you're playing a Leviathan from hand, without thing, it's like 5 CP because it's the card itself.
It's allocated slightly differently.
But then,
the
like,
fact that it has to be backups is
no,
really
it can be
important.
forwards as well. And dulling a forward is actually like cheaper, like less less effective than dulling a backup.
No, because if you've got these forwards blocking, and then so they don't attack, they've gone past combat, now you can just use them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I think.
Yeah.
If you're our swarm player, do you envision? Does this card make you think about making some sort of deck that's just Vikings?
Oh, like that's one thing to think about. Like, do I want to use this over the other rapier in my current standard unit deck?
Yeah, that's it's a real consideration.
Oh,
'Cause,
actually, like all your things cost 1.
Yeah,
anyway.
Well, because if I'm using the other rapier, then pretty much everything costs 1 in that deck.
Yeah.
Aside from like a Viking and some of the Geomancers.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, if I swap this in, it's like I've still got some of the everything goes up by 1. But it's like, okay, I don't want to attack these Vikings. Is not going to get through. Like, you're not going to use it.
Yeah,
Probably not.
they become significantly more
Yeah,
they
useful.
just
Like
become
probably not going to
Leviathans.
use it as a combat trick because like I've just dealt 5 of my Vikings.
Yeah.
I'm not drawing cards off them anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
But like-
it's... Oh, go ahead.
It's like okay, you were taking a few things that probably took the damage. I tap these 5 Vikings, and if you kill, I'm going to draw a card. I return that thing to your hand.
Yeah.
And because of how wide I go, I'll bounce another thing.
Yeah,
My turn.
I was gonna say, I mean, you could even in that kind of deck,
Yeah.
realistically
Yeah, do
get
it.
like up to 10 water permanents.
Yeah,
right? Like
you can.
or characters rather.
Yeah. Oh, and then my backup line as well. It's a third thing.
Yeah.
If you just play like backup EX Riku, you just get
Oh,
extra
yeah.
Leviathans of those.
Actually, the Wind Waterless might even run that instead of the other
And
Riku.
then you just
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Just like run Porum, activate all your things again, get more Leviathans.
Personally, I thought like obviously there's a lot like you really don't like this card in terms of what it's doing in terms of against you, but I thought that you'll be kind of a little bit happy because then no because you said that when you were playing against Kevin,
Yeah.
most of his things are 2 or 3.
What?
Yeah.
Like
Oh my god,
like-
Knight to Zalo.
exactly most of his things like 2, 3,
Yeah.
and 5, right?
So now we have Warrior of Light to contend with.
no, it's
so
no,
now
but,
I can play a
no, no, but no,
Is that what you're
no,
saying?
no,
And
no. What I'm
also-
saying is that when you're dealing, when he's dealing this for the
Yeah,
Leviathan
but-
effect, you can just
but-
Zalora and then they all die.
Yeah,
You know?
I can
Yeah.
I can do that in response, and that's part of what I really enjoy about our matchups.
Yeah.
But it will
Because
mean
he's
that,
dealing the forwards for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will mean that he'll know that though.
Yeah, so I'll just use my backup.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
He'll use his backups. And
And what you
also,
did-
because this incentivizes playing Porum anyway, like in most of my games against Kevin, his forwards are usually active. He's still doing damage to me. That's the trap. Not the trap, but like that's the
That's the
situation.
trick.
The our games come down to often is like you're attacking with one thing unless you've got a Zidane or a Porum, then you attack with your board. And I'm afraid to block because of Garnet or Cyclops or a Leviathan, you know. And so I've got to find ways to get in for more damage per turn than he is. I can't really count on blocking too much, even if I literally do have blockers. So.
I mean, I just thought that this is another 3 job that's hit Zalora, and they're probably gonna run the other 3, 2, and 5 jobs.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. It's
you know.
nice that there's now this extra thing to.
And like they're
consider.
doing it for you. They're like doing the job for you.
Yeah, I do.
You
That's
know?
why I like when
Yeah.
people attack me.
Yeah.
Dangerous to attack.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually more dangerous to attack in the park.
Yeah.
You get
Like
AoE.
Zalora, yeah. I remember having.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, what?
I don't know what you're talking
because
about.
he's all 1 drops.
Yeah.
Look
And
at all
also,
these.
it also just makes your forwards gigantic. Water has just like a ton of buffers now. You have Legend Cecil, you have Waka, obviously, Rifia, Christus. Possibly.
The Quistis is another thing.
Yeah.
Quistis can bring in this Refia.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's like-
And then she gets buffed by it.
And then you can deal the Refia and the Quistis and your backup suit.
Yeah, yeah.
The Leviathan thing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you just get really big boards.
Like bigger than it already
Bigger
is.
than it already is. It's
And
like,
Garnet
yeah.
is already such a powerhouse when it
Yeah.
comes to your team-wide buffs. Like,
No, but like honestly speaking, when you Kevin, like, are you gonna have trouble fitting this into your deck? Because there's already like something there, you know.
I mentioned just earlier that I was not getting to play Lena and Knight, so
Yeah.
I think that
You-
this also gives you a
that's-
late game option as well as being an early
Oh wait,
game option.
you would take
I
Lena
would-
out.
I would actually really like
Maybe.
you to remove Leno and Knight because
Big
because
Salama recovery.
yeah, like I was gonna say this when we get to strengths and weaknesses, but I don't know
Yeah.
if we're gonna make it to that.
No,
It's
no.
Like, yeah, the water has the best Zalora recovery,
Mm.
which is funny because it's all prime numbers, so they all die to Zalora. but then, yeah, Leno
Yeah.
and Knight is
that,
really good.
that
at
might actually be
Zalora.
sort of a whole sort of factored in though, right? Because they've known, like Zelda was in the old game, right? And they will have designed water.
Yeah, it was.
Understanding
It
that
was.
it's like a
It was.
go-to.
Yeah.
Water does have a lot of
Nice
4-drops that Kevin just doesn't play, like Tidus, and like Ash can activate itself.
It has a lot of really cool 4-drops actually.
Yeah, it has like Waka.
Tidus and Waka are really cool, but I
Yeah.
don't get to play them.
Yeah.
Maybe you should. You do play a lot against Chris.
It's 5 years ago. It's like it's still a completely fine matchup. It's not like he's losing because he's playing.
Yeah,
fine.
no, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to get into some chapter cards. A lot of them. I mean, so these are just monsters from the old chapter series that were in the Japanese Final Fantasy TCG card game.
Yep.
And yeah, a lot of the water monsters don't do much.
Generic.
Yeah,
They're
just
all
generic.
like the like trash mobs that you kill.
Yeah, it's just
right?
it's just like bounce a thing, reduce a power.
Bounce
all
the
that
thing
kind of
is
stuff.
so cool.
No, but it's boring. Like it's boring. Like it's
Murata's
a
looking
thing.
for diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
like-
I think Leviathan is also one of the most interesting summons as well.
Mm.
funnily
Well,
enough.
it's
No, I mean like
it's interesting because it makes you think. But
Yeah,
its
like,
effect
it makes
is
the
fundamentally quite
turns
similar.
The fact
Yeah.
that more are printed is not interesting.
yeah.
More of this-
That's pretty much
I
the
mean,
same thing.
I also
What-
really don't want a Leviathan on the monster.
Yeah,
There's gonna
what
be
does
one.
that-
I'm pretty sure.
What does that mean for like the game's environment? Having a Leviathan on a monster, like,
It means you want the Emperor.
well, yeah.
I'm assuming it's
Well-
an activation ability that you break the monster to bounce a thing.
There's multiple actually. Yeah.
It gives me like ability to deal with things that can't be targeted by summons because that's kind of a weakness of
Nah,
Warfare.
Mecha Chokbo, no!
Oh yeah. And
Mecha
like,
Chokbo will kill Requiem. And Warrior of Light.
Uh,
But it can be bounced by Requiem.
but it can be killed by Warrior of Light as well. Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
He can also pull his forearm out of his deck with the other forearm.
Yeah.
Splash the new Phoenix.
But
Oh,
then
yeah.
there's the old Phaeton switch. Dull everything to bounce the Mecha Chocobo. Salara!
Yeah, in response, yeah.
Like just splash in the new Phoenix, bring back your
Oh,
rapier, and then
yeah,
just
yeah.
do it again.
This is why I love our games.
Then what happens is the sneaky fairy activates it.
Sneaky fairy.
The
Always
unseen
gets me.
fairy is the
So I like I only found really one interesting monster, to be honest. And
it's chapter card, not chapter cards.
but I'm gonna talk about two other chapter cards, but we're just gonna like zoom through them. Zoom through them. But this is the most interesting one. So it's a 1-cost monster.
Yep.
It's called Sprite. At the start of your first main phase, if you have 8 cards or more in your hand, put Sprite into the break zone. If Sprite is put into the break zone due to this effect, return all forwards and monsters opponent controls to their owner's hands.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool, right? So wait, hold on.
I start games, like not start games, but I started toes quite regularly recently with 8 cards in my hand.
I know.
Oh my
So
God.
actually, the idea that I like, the reason why I really like this, because when
It
I
gives
put,
you a flan.
wait, exactly. No, so when I was playing against your mono ice deck,
Yeah.
your flan, you get flans on my turn,
Yeah.
right? And then
I
you
do.
have like all these cards
Yeah.
on your own turn. So you don't need to do it with flans. You can do it in mono water.
Just stop one thing.
No,
You can do it with Yuna.
No, so okay, there's actually a couple of things, but the one that actually I put my eye on after the match I played with you, I was
Yeah.
looking at different cards, and it was actually the Moogle, the theater rhythm one. You just
you just break it
to draw a card. You can do it on your opponent's turn, and then you have more cards.
Yeah.
You can Moogle 9 your own forward. You can Scholar your own forward, and you literally just need one more extra card. And you need to have 5
Yeah,
cards in
If
hand.
your
This is
opponent
so
runs
easy.
into the Opus 4
Hang
Leviathan
on.
of
In
Lumiere,
chapters,
Or
does
just
every element have a Ritz?
No.
If it does backups as well?
No, forwards.
Forwards
Oh,
and monsters.
for the monsters.
For forwards and monsters, forwards and
Not
monsters, yeah.
backups. That would be
Yeah.
disgusting.
It's, wait. I think this creates a really interesting dynamic because hold on. No, it's just listen to me.
You can't, like, you've got to
Listen
have
to me.
this card.
No.
How else do you interact with that?
No, listen to me. So, for example, that say they got a little bit of pro presence, and then they draw 2 cards. They've got 6 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Like dealt 2 backups to play a knight, whatever, and then they pass the turn. They've got those 2 backups. Just say for argument's sake, the Moogle Theatre Rhythm to draw a card, right? The opponent is gonna see that, right? He's gonna see you have 5 cards. You have the Moogle Theatre Rhythm out, and you get to draw a card. But that means that you can pretty much like go very aggro on them because they're not gonna want to cast a Leviathan because that means they're not gonna get the effect of the sprites. But then alternatively, like you could bait your opponent out saying, "I want to use sprites," right? But then they overcommit, and then you use like Sildra or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a really cool dynamic there. I think that it will create.
I
It
think
is
that
cool.
this card
It can't exist
No.
so long as every element does not have a way to kill it.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely,
Right.
definitely, yeah.
Like,
Well,
so long,
yeah,
so long
yeah, no,
as
definitely,
the fire cards that exist stay the same,
Yeah.
and none of them say kill a monster,
yeah,
I don't want this card to exist.
yeah. I can definitely see this.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
too easy. That
Yeah.
kind of
And then we've already established order is the color that goes wide.
Yeah.
So
And just,
Turning
and just the
everything
easiest
down.
draw power.
Yeah.
oh look, at the
This-
start of my turn, all of these
this-
things are now cannot be blocked.
This
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have to be mono water as well. Like
Yeah.
I'd love it in my ice water.
Oh, yeah, because you just draw the flag,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but I can't exist.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
currently.
you can just get like a lock as
I
well.
think-
If you just like play another sprite the next turn, what are they
You
gonna
can,
do?
yeah, you
Play
can.
forwards?
I think that a card like this could exist if maybe you change some of the numbers.
And the other
Oh,
thing
yeah,
about
you
it-
could, yeah,
the other
I
thing about
reckon.
it is you can't accidentally have it happen as well,
Mm.
because it will
Yeah.
only check at the start of your first main phase.
Yeah.
Mm.
So then you can't. Oh crap! They bounced something, and now I have to use it. It broke itself, and it bounced like nothing. Or you know, it's just you have
It's-
complete control over.
It'll
what
be
happens.
really interesting in mono water matchup because they wouldn't want to Leviathan the opponent's
Well,
forwards,
you,
right?
you might just to get rid of the sprite.
Mm.
Ah, okay, yeah.
If like because you're
Yep.
taking away one of their forwards at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
But it
Although,
still doesn't feel good.
I guess
Yeah, yeah.
if both of you have a sprite, the opponent's sprite will just feed your sprite.
yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's really interesting.
I find it weird that it's a sprite that
Yeah.
does this.
Mm, are you sure it's not like Bahamut?
Anyways, I think that's
Yeah,
so.
that is interesting.
Yeah, I think
That is
it-
interesting.
It's the most interesting water
I think
monster.
it's interesting because it's completely broken.
No, I think the next card is more broken.
Okay.
Whoa, this
Yeah,
is-
I think that's
this
it.
is-
Name it Minmu so Jared gets white.
Oh,
Um,
that means we can't play.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look, Minwu on a monster for fire is just as bad as, in fact, it's worse than Minwu as a backup
What do you
because we have fewer ways to interact with
Oh,
monsters.
come on. You both have 8
We
cost
can't.
cards.
All right. So in order to play that one, we either have to get rid of our board
Mm.
or be playing Earth.
Ah.
Jared.
Who wants to do
Oh,
that?
that's true. that's
Jared,
true.
so
Next
the
card.
the next monster, unfortunately, I really didn't plan this. Actually, just so you guys know, no one knows about this.
You
But
can
the
see
next
the stare on
monster
his
is Poo Poo,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, okay.
Forward you control, don't take damage this way.
God damn it!
Wait, no, what's even better? No. What's
There
even
is all the
No,
hell!
wait, no, there's more. There's
How much does
more.
it cost?
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Guess how much it
It
costs?
costs one or something, doesn't
I'm
it?
guessing 2.
It costs 2. So a 2 cost monster, I'd just be like, oh, you know.
Oh, great and powerful designers of this game, please stop boning me. Oh,
I mean, like I said, we're not gonna talk much about this card. It's just a Minwu and a
does it do
monster.
anything else?
No, that's it.
Does it have like some condition that says if you also have Minwu, break this because it's
No.
redundant now?
No.
Oh God! Why do these things have to make sense?
And this one is only a rare card as well,
Ah!
so everyone will have access to it.
Well, look, I think. I mean, in fairness, I hate Minwu, but I think it probably should have been.
I love that.
Rare.
In fairness, I hate Minwu.
I feel like it should have been at rare just because of how ubiquitous it is.
I think it's hero because of the Yoshitaka mana art.
Definitely. That's
Oh,
why all the
ah.
6 characters are.
Well, yeah.
What's the next?
Ethereum,
Is there a Yoshitaka Amano art card that is lower than H? I think you might have stumbled across something. I can't think
This
of
is a
one.
grand conspiracy.
I don't think so.
This is just what we do.
We just sidetrack for days. The next card is actually less exciting than this, but almost just as broken. It was actually the old Cleon in the chapter series.
Oh.
So they only made one change to it, and that change is the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the chapter series, it was a 1 cost.
Of course
monster.
it was.
Of course.
It was a 1 cost monster. So you know.
God, I really hope that could.
It's so cool. Yeah, it was like Poopa's going to a spaceship.
Yeah, he's an alien.
Oh, man.
He's an alien. I remember going around in Final Fantasy VIII trying to find him. You've got to like go and get into random encounters in various places on the world map, and you just have this like, it starts off just like a regular battle, except Poo just goes across the screen.
Like
And
a random
then-
spaceship.
Da 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 da.
Yeah. So yeah, like other than that, the other water monsters didn't really interest me, but that was fun.
Yeah.
That's very
Finally got that poo-poo.
I can't believe that happened.
Everyone was talking. I was like, "Oh, what if it was a video? What if it was?" I was like, "Yeah."
About that.
Anyways,
You can see despair just enter his eyes.
Oh god.
Like, just set up camera just for that moment.
Yeah.
No, you know what's even better than a
Yeah.
monster? If it's on a summon, and so it's like, Sephiroth, finally got rid of that Minwoo, BB this thing! And it's like, summon Minwoo. Draw a card.
well, like,
It would.
Yeah, it would.
It would draw.
I was
And it would also
like,
be a one drop.
you mean like a Phoenix for backups? Like bring a 3-cost backup from the break zone to the
No,
field?
No, I mean just a summon
okay.
that has the effect
Okay.
of
I-
force.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Just like,
No,
oh,
it
he's
doesn't
trying
say-
my Minwoo.
I don't-
Summon it, bring it back.
The summon Minwoo doesn't say this turn.
Oh.
It's just for the rest of the game. Like you've got this
Oh,
effect,
wow.
you can't interact with it, you can't dispel it.
I don't think we need that poo because Adamantoise exists. And Adamantoise is.
No. What Poo Poo does is it lets you play other backups.
Yeah,
I
that's
suppose.
essentially what it does. No, but
it's also not like better than Minwoo.
No, because it doesn't make CP. It
yeah.
just doesn't do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, except shut off the fire player.
Yeah.
Like,
But
yeah,
the
like-
dictate like it can't do damage.
no, it's the
exact-
same effect as Minwoo.
Okay,
It's the exact same
okay.
effect as Minwoo.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go on to, I was gonna say meta reports, but you want to talk about our decks again, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I think like I said, it's off season, and I think closer to the end of Opus 4, we'll do it.
Actually,
Well, 'cause
and,
the,
like Opus 5 is already getting so much hype this early into the cycle. It's
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
And we're like, it's not like we're not going to have meta reports soon because the regionals will be starting up.
Oh,
not too
definitely,
long from now,
definitely, yeah.
all the,
right? They're
I mean,
starting up-
it'll be after Opus 5.
yeah.
Yeah, but when they,
There's
it's not
also
so
a Winter
far.
Cup in Milano or something, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's a deck discussions, right? Let's
Like reflections. we call
deck reflections.
Deck
l-
deductions.
it? Oh.
Well, we have this mystery before us today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Deck detectives.
Yeah, Morgan's deck. So do you want to talk us through it?
Beautiful.
So first thing to mention is that this was made in Opus 3, like it hasn't had any Opus 4 things done to it.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. But primarily just runs every one drop and wins. And then something that like, quite funny, Chris mentioned before, like you wouldn't run Maria and like probably wouldn't get them off from
Yeah.
You're
11k probably.
Yeah.
just like they're looking in the corner of this like
Yeah.
Maria Minerva right next to it.
Oh yeah,
So-
you won't have them Minerva.
And it's just like,
At least you even want to trade that to Wildlight though.
Yeah. So the Minerva is quite like I just added it. Last time I played it, I added it just because Jared thought it might be a good idea, it might be a fun thing to do. And
Except it costs like 7 times more than most of it.
so, like, and that's what this like other Onion Knight here, like that's
Oh,
what it
yeah.
replaced.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
like instead currently runs one of the light Onion Knight, one Minerva.
Then you can just
And-
return the Onion Knight here.
Yeah.
The thing is like with the Minerva, it doesn't matter as much if it gets Leviathan, because
Because everything you play is
yeah,
free.
it's
anyway.
like
Yeah.
okay, you returned to my hand. I'll just use 5 backups and 1 card play it
Because
again.
this also ramps up backups really
It
quickly.
does.
Oh, yeah,
Evoker, Evoker.
Yeah.
I've talked about this on the podcast before, but turn 1, you played 4 backups?
Yeah, like come from like 4 back to like 3 backspin forward.
So
Yeah,
walk,
yeah.
walk us through that series of plays. How does that generally work?
So in order to get like I'm pretty sure I did turn 1. Just remember what cards I had. So I can see it in my head. Yeah. So it's like discard for just a random backup. So maybe like
Oracle? Maybe like an Oracle, yeah?
yeah, just any random prop.
Yeah.
And then like another
Discard.
thing for an arrow to activate the Oracle or whatever backup it is.
The 2 costs.
Yeah, 2 cost arrow that just activates 1 backup.
Yeah.
Then use the backup you activated to play Varn. But when you inspect the 1-drop Varn, when you inspect it deactivates another thing. And then you use that to play another 1-drop. The backup just play another 1-drop.
Evoker.
So it's like
Boom!
So you can have any
So
other
that-
or any other 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you can be like, okay, Aerith, Oracle, Evoker, and Varn.
Yeah.
On turn
Yes.
1.
Yeah, so
And-
this is turn 1 going first.
Yes, this is
But-
going first.
Yeah, the turn 1 going second, you can play
Yeah.
4 backups
Yeah.
like on curve.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can discard.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you think? So you've got like 2 outcomes there, right? You can either go for another 1-drop forward and have 2 forwards available to attack on turn 2 and 2 backups, or you can have 3 backups and a forward. And you do have a lot of 2-drops that you could draw into on the next turn. So, like, what do you hope for in those scenarios, or which out do you normally play towards?
I think like I normally prefer having the 2 backups because if I have 3 backups, like it's not as
Because
good for
you're
turn,
only drawing 2 cards a turn.
Yeah, like if I draw, let's say I've played 3 backups and 1 forward, and I draw 2 backups after that, it's like, oh, I've only got Van on board.
Yeah.
But I will have like my 5 backups and then play
You
everything.
probably get to play both of those backups, though,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah,
because Van, assuming he can attack, can get, I will activate. You play a backup, then you attack with Van, activates one of them, lets you play the other one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming they're both 2-drop backups or an appropriate backup. 2-drop.
Yeah, but like having 2 backups is quite nice just because it's
You can play both 1-drops you draw.
yeah, because normal like the majority of this deck is 1-drops. Like looking at it,
And that's to get the maximum value off of your Shenhazai, right?
Yeah.
Delicious Shimazai.
It's not just put together just because of that, because it's really hard to deal with. Back in Opus 3, I play tested it with my 7 Swift Strikes deck, and I kept on losing to it. Right? No, honestly, and then I was like, you know what? I need to use Cosmic Memory. So I just put more Red 13, so then I can Cosmic Memory all your forwards.
Yeah, this deck will destroy
And
you
it
if
kept.
you're not prepared for
Yeah.
it.
Like,
You need some AoE, otherwise, whoops, you're dead.
yeah. One fun thing of this deck was against you, right?
Yeah.
Like I ninja out and like I was just stalling the game. I was like, how much damage can I do with this ninja?
Yeah.
And it's like attacked, blocked with Sephiroth. 512,000 damage to Sephiroth.
He did that, yeah.
Like
The thing is, he had first strike as well. Otherwise, that wouldn't have worked. He had first strike with
Was it this Chocobo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like, oh my
I
god.
do 512,000 damage to your thing and kill it.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, he overcommitted because that was like on my last legs. That was a 6 points of damage. I had to block his Sephiroth, and he was just like, shoving it.
The sad thing was, I realized after I could have made it over 1 million damage because I had Van on board.
Yeah.
I was like, if I attacked Van first.
Oh, you probably attacked with him.
Yeah, like if I'd done either, I
yeah.
could have just got that extra bit of damage to make it 1 million.
Yeah.
1,024,000 damage from my ninja.
Those numbers are unheard of.
That gets past Minwu though.
Yeah. Pretty safely.
It's okay, this card can already kill.
And he's actually, going back to Payne Magogo, he's one of my ways to deal with it as well. Like,
Yeah.
if I attack ninja, you have Payne Magogo, I go to block with it because I can't kill it otherwise. Like, how many, like, I run 3 ninjas and I have 2 Asaurus to get them back. How many Go-Gos do you have?
That's true. Although I have Linus to get them back.
Yes. So, do you have
It's
enough?
just
It's about the same if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also like the 1-drop Chocobo that buffs and the 1-drop Chocobo that gives first strike.
Yeah.
So-
And also you can just get the Black Chocobo make a party.
Yeah. The other thing is like what each chose was try doing as much damage as possible.
Yeah.
So basically, the majority of the deck is like all the 1-drops that were Opus 3 and before, like 3 of all in Wind. Need to clarify. Yeah, so it runs 3 of each of the generic classes,
Multi-card.
and then like 2 of all of the like named.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something I've noticed when I'm versing you as well. Is like turn 1, you've got all your resources set up, and you might have a guy die.
Yeah.
And turn 2, okay, if you've had a really slow start, you need to turn 2 to also have. And then you're set. But from then on, you draw 2 cards, you play 2 cards, and just because of the nature of deck building, most of the time you're getting 2 forwards. So I had to always expect 2 more forwards coming down your turn, except every odd turn or so there might be a forward and a backup.
And there's also the possibility of me getting the Onion Knight with haste.
Yeah.
My like ability to recycle as well, with, like either Asura or the Oracle.
Yeah.
So
could,
This is a combo kill.
And it's like these things are dangerous because eventually when Shemhazai shows up,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
just
yeah.
ignore these piddly things that I can block them easily.
The really cool. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, the really cool thing is that you're playing the common Aerith. I actually really like that Aerith, but because the other Aerith is so so widespread, like if this wasn't called Aerith, I'll be playing it so much more.
Actually, there is a card that's like the same. That's not.
Oh, the
called
Gym
Aerith
Enter.
now. Yeah, the new Gym
Yeah.
Enter. I think that could be a replacement.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a wind character, so that's all your backups anyway, or just Ishtala, maybe.
Oh,
There
yeah.
are also 2 new 1-drops in Opus 4. Like, had you...
Oh, Shara is amazing.
Shara and Thief.
Yeah.
And-
Thief maybe less so, but Shara is amazing.
Well, Thief has the multi-card icon, so it's
Oh, yeah.
it's one more thing that you can have more than one of in play.
Is
So
it better
the-
than
like-
any of these things?
The main
not
thing is
sure.
I like
not sure.
I like having edge just because it gives Sukinoa haste as well. And it can activate my backups all at once if I do like let's say what 4 backups
Or-
with Maria in hand. It's like okay, play Sukinoa, attack,
So,
activate.
sometimes you run Zemus. Obviously not in this list.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So-
you run Zemus.
Like in this deck at the moment, it's got 1 Ignite, 1 Minerva. If I take those out, I don't think I'd take out the Maria for Zemus just because of its spot like on the curve, which is one reason
That's
why
right.
I'm running light at the moment. Like, and I'd probably replace the Ignite and Minerva with is it 7?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 7 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could.
Just because she's another one of like another character with just generic evasion on her.
And she also saves you from Shantos.
And Kaganezu.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I did play that, I think it was against you, Kevin.
Oh.
Intermission 7.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh no.
Oh my god!
That was painful, man.
Let me guess, you kept a hand because the intermission was.
Well, no, I can't get into it.
Oh, I see.
It was bad. That's why I played it.
And then like, Chris comes along, why'd you do that? It's like such a bad thing to
No,
sit on.
but if you think about it, right? Like every time you play these, like things that you can have as auto ability, if they 7 it, like that destroys your game plan. Like it's the same thing when you're playing a Celestis Freezer backup. If you're 7ing an auto ability, that like even though it's not as effective as Cagnaz or whatever, but that destroys them,
Yeah, I was like-
even morally. Like,
This is asserting your dominance. You don't get another mulligan.
I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. Then Chris goes, I was like, it's such a bad thing to use.
Yes.
And then
no, I agree with that. No.
Like, because
because
I don't-
I was here looking at my hand. I'm like, crap.
You've got like Lena, you've got like Cagnazzo, you've got
Yeah, because the other thing was that I don't get to know how many if he's
Steiner.
going to use the mulligan or not
Yeah.
beforehand as
So
well. I was like, I want to do this. Yeah.
an interesting question, which I always tell you. What about 3-drop Chocobo from Opus 1?
It cost him.
Yeah,
Cost
that
too
is
much.
Cost too much.
But it goes so well with like a huge
And you
board.
could just have one of them as well, right?
So
I'm really excited to see what you do with the Fat Chocobo. Actually, I want to see your version of the Fat Chocobo.
I
Deck.
think it's an interesting question for listeners. Is about should the 3-drop Chocobo go in this?
Let us know in the comments below.
Shall we go for like each of the cards in the deck then, like so they can see what's in it? Think what's in
It's
it?
going to be. We're
Okay.
No, on the thing we're gonna put the FF Dex link.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's only on YouTube though, right?
No,
yes,
on the
YouTube
on the podcast will be in the link.
Okay.
Yeah, on the description.
True.
I think one of the nicest cards in this deck is Yishtala, just because it's like the 2 cards that say me in a mirror match, which has happened a few times.
What?
Yeah.
Like alternate universe Morgan.
Oh no,
Like
that
a-
you
like
would
a
play like
goatee.
only-
Yeah. No.
Right.
So no, that Morgan runs the Zemus, right?
Oh, right. God likes Morgan versus Dark Morgan.
Like Gary played something that was very similar to this one point.
And also Daniel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the free dances, my horrible dancing does free K to you and all your guys. It wipes your board.
That dancer is my favorite card, honestly. That deck.
Trip over all of our next speech.
Like why else would it hurt them? Like it's got to be horrible dancing if it hurts them, right?
Right? Yeah.
We're all
It
standing
must
in
be.
line. I can't like not they're my peripherals. I'm not like paying attention to them. They're just
Yeah,
doing a horrible dance.
Yeah.
It's like,
It
oh,
hurts
my
their
eyes.
yeah.
Something else I really like about this deck is it's mostly all common and rare, and then like the heroes and legends are like really like rah, like
They're just
really,
like pathetic little small dudes.
yeah, but they're really like they feel like the heroic legend within the game plan of the deck.
Yeah.
Maria! Oh, my fake survivor cycle because no run Chocobo.
Or Zidane's is like devastating against a lot of a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
think
decks.
Ishtar were the two I was looking at
Yeah,
most.
yeah.
Like Ishtar gives you something to do with your resources when
Yeah.
you've got like 5 backups and like you're drawing 2 1-drops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And also let your 1-drop straight up if they have to.
Also, there's like no opportunity cost using Ishtar. And then that Patch's first strike is like, the Chocobo's first strike.
Yeah, no, like honestly,
It's funny game against you off when just like I was completely screwed and like, okay, I think I've lost this. Draw. That works. Gotcha. Gotcha, nothing.
Or-
Like,
I
enough.
want to to see at some point just like a lone versus 2 Chocobo with first rank attacking because there's an Ishtola there. Nothing can block it.
Oh my god.
I think in that game against you with a
Yeah.
opponent 12,000 ninja,
Yeah.
I like did a party of about 8 things.
Oh yes,
but
yeah,
the
you
only
did.
talk right on board was that one. So I didn't get buffed.
Oh yeah. So they all go first strike. They all go
They're
first
first
strike.
strike, but they're all face value.
Yeah.
It was like this 8-party thing, like 12,000 power.
I mean, like, I could have blocked it. I could have blocked it favorably at least.
Like I'd played it so like my guy I could survive because I was just because like I'd basically won already. It's like okay, I do this. I'm going to draw to my last 2 cards. That'll be the turn I win.
That was what
Yeah,
was
some great
the
ones.
other 1-drop Chocobo? It gives a buff of is it 3k or 2k?
2,000.
Okay, so like you have one of those and the Opus 2 Chocobo. That's like that's a 6k first striking party, which is like it's the Dragon is 5k.
It's a
right?
10k first strike.
So if it's just these 2, it'd be 8k because it buffs itself as well.
Oh, it buffs itself as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's 8k first strike. That's like Sephiroth.
8K.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
it's like a Sephiroth.
Yes,
And,
well,
then, and you paid 2 CP for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if I've got like Ark and Maria out.
Ooh,
Ew.
it's 10k.
Spicy.
Yeah. Like
Oh, no, it's more.
the only things that like Ark and Maria don't save from Cyclops is the first strike Chocobo and Tsukinoa.
Yeah.
It's like I buffed them to 3,000.
Yeah.
Are you intimidated now?
I give my forward a 2k buff, bringing its power to
3,000.
And then that's one of the reasons the nerves in here as well. Like I can get you each a card, or I can give them another is it plus 3k?
3k,
You
yeah.
double
3K.
their power.
You double their power. It's like doubling their power.
I do this. I get times 2 is all my
Oh,
I got Tsukinoa. You hit a Cyclops. He lives.
I'm so glad we're doing this thing now because all through the season we've been talking about it every so often.
Yeah.
It's like such a nice finishing deck.
Yes, every now and then we have a little aside.
Yeah.
And then we played against
And our deck sucked.
We reviewed Shadow Lord.
Which I do kind of want to channel this deck just because it'd be funny.
Well, you could use it as a nuke, right? You
Yeah.
play your Shadow Lord, kill 4 of your things, deal 8k to that.
But Shadow Lord doesn't look at my things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Oh,
No.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just when I thought he
I mean,
like,
he can win the mirror.
You can want the mirror, yeah.
One fun thing of this deck though is like with Fizana, like attacking Fizana, they block, it dies. Maybe it traded if it says like it's plus 1k and maybe Ishtar as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, okay, it died. I wanted that to happen. Asura, Izana,
Yeah.
I get another Chocobo.
Yeah. You always do that. You
Yeah,
always
yeah.
do that.
Oh, you attack Izana, Asura, another Chocobo.
They just multiply.
I wish they had the Type 0 Chocobo in the game. I thought they would when Azana was spoiled. It's even in the
Cheechery,
card.
right? Cheechery?
Yeah.
I mean, like, they still can. Type 0 is coming in Opus
Oh
5.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's
In across like a whole bunch of the Final Fantasies, there were like the characters that introduced you to Chocobos were like Choco Billy and
Chocolina.
Choco.
Chocolate.
So we might end up with like some of those characters as well.
They would be nice.
Might find their way into a list like this.
But with the Opus 4, what else would you add? We said Charas and...
Yes, I would probably like take. I'm not sure what to take it at the moment
Yeah.
because like putting in another 1-drop because I like all the 1-drops that are in
Oh,
here at the moment.
would you run Terra, the Light Terra, to find the Shemazai?
Ooh.
How was that? I haven't actually like.
When it enters the field, you can search for someone of 5 cost or less.
That might mitigate my bad luck on drawing Shimazai.
Yeah.
You have a lot of bad luck with not drawing Shemazai, honestly.
So there's like 3 Shimazais. Like we played like 8 games. I think it was against you.
Yeah.
Played 8 games. I'd not draw a single Shimazai.
Yeah.
But this.
So I think the Light Terra might actually be a cool little tech.
Turning those Aeriths into the new Geomancer as well.
Obviously. Yes.
Like, it means you can play more than one of them.
Yeah.
You can even play 3 Geomancers, yeah, that'll be good.
One fun thing I have actually done with the stick is win on turn 3.
Oh.
It was against Sarah.
Oh, you won on turn 3?
Yeah, it's like I can't remember what turn 1 was. I think I played two forwards and a backup. Or maybe 2 backs, I can't remember now. Then it's like, oh, Shimazai and Onion Knight. Do I do it? I'll get him for 3 damage. It's probably a bad idea. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Onion Knight, Shimazai, attack, 3 damage. Next turn. Oh, that works. Enough something of haste. Shimazai, attack. I think I'd edge out, that's what it was. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
And Another Shimazai, 4 damage. I win. That was fast.
Lots of fun moments to be had in this day.
It's like,
But like even people are saying, oh, it's not a meta deck or whatever. I honestly
it's
think
a fun day.
no. It's a fun deck, but I honestly think that if you're making any competitive deck, you should actually test it against any rush deck like this one, because when it comes into the competition and you have no outs, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Like it's as easy as that.
As time goes on, decks like this are just going to get better because
No, they
have
are,
access to more and more cards. Like,
Definitely.
Because I remember you first started making something like this in Opus 2, right?
Yeah.
That was when I remember you seeing you playing just out all of those backups for the first time.
There's only
Yeah,
like
before this day, I almost never played backups.
Yeah, the only
Oh,
Opus,
yeah.
even now the only Opus 3 cards in this are Black Chocobo, Izana, and Minerva.
And Dancer.
yeah, Dancer.
And Oracle's also Opus 3.
Yeah.
But I mean that's just like a backup, right?
Yeah.
So
And Minerva wasn't always in here.
and as more interesting and more effective, cheap one drops come out, the Shempa's eyes are always they just become more and more valuable.
Yeah. And if we get like a resilient 1-drop, that's gonna be hellish to deal with.
Yeah, because even before I had the Shimmers, I can with decks like this, because I always run Yuffie. Like except for when I just last time I played Model, I did not like because it didn't have Yuffie. Just Yuffie on its own, because I played Wind Water for a while as well. When it was first started, not many people had a way to deal with it.
Yeah.
I was Jared, I've only got 1 2-drop in this entire deck.
Oh yeah,
no
that
2-drops.
was a deck I played against you, and it was a big dude's deck. It played the Opus. Was it Opus 2 or Opus 3 Prish, the one that brings back more Prish?
Opus 3.
Opus 3. And so I think I attacked into you with that Prish because it was the only thing I really had that could effectively get through. Well, except it couldn't get through. Every turn it got blocked by just some other meaningless 1-drop.
And then at one point it's okay, I've got Last Renew out. You attack first. I block with Yuna, I use Last to get plus 2k. I now Sylph to activate Lhasa. I tap Yuna to draw a card, and I Last again, making Yuna 10k.
Yeah.
Frisch dies.
Yep. And there was another Prish.
And I draw a card.
What's really good about this UV, obviously, it's very easy to remove. It's only 3k, it has no protection on it, but most people putting cards to counter the legendary Zidane because they're okay, I need to have at least 3 drops, and people a lot of meta decks run 3 drops or higher, and probably don't even run a lot of 2 drops, and now this Yuffie can just destroy them.
There are lots of decks without 2 drops.
Yeah. And Sukinora as well is
Sukinora.
basically Yuffie but weaker, but can have haste.
Well, that deck I talked about last time, the Mono 6 fire deck.
No 2 drops?
I can't think of it. I think that there is a 2-drop in there, but I can't remember what it is. Or maybe there isn't. But yeah,
I don't recall there being a 2-drop.
I'd have to draw removal for Yuffie,
and
which is something that actually has to get answered, which is awkward because she's only a 1
Yeah, so it's inefficient for you to remove her, right?
You don't want to spend a Bahamut on her.
Yeah, you don't want to use the new Phoenix just to get rid of a Yuffie.
Yeah, you don't.
Because it also changes how my plans with players. I play Yuffie. I wanted to play this 6-drop. Crap. Now I'm going to play this 2-drop cloud instead. And it like can force your like removals really early as well. It's like, I need to get rid of that Yuffie now. Cyclops.
Yeah.
Oh, good for only 2 forts on the field for the time. I played 5 more.
Yeah, that has happened.
Oh no, I've burned Helder and Atmos as Yuffie before, just because I was a 6 points of damage and I couldn't. I had no answer to it, honestly.
And it's like, you used your thing you used 4-drop to kill my 1-drop.
Yeah.
I play another one.
Yeah, and he just happens to have another one the next turn.
Yeah, because it happens a lot. I draw duplicates of the named cards. These just stuck in my hand for a while, so I don't
You normally attack with them recklessly, and then they think you have something up your sleeve and they let it go. Yeah. You're like, damn it, I want to play that card.
I just wanted to play another one.
It's I attack. You don't block. Okay, you take a damage then.
Yeah.
You kill on your turn. I play another one.
Yeah. So for anybody that's listening or watching or seeing the deck list, give this deck a try. I know it has no Opus 4 cards, but it's pretty fun to play.
Well, we've discussed a couple things you could add to it.
Yeah.
And it's also
pretty
relatively
cheap.
Yeah.
Other than the Legends Zidane.
Yeah, Legends Zidane think
Very expensive.
It's like-
still.
Is he?
It's
I
cheaper.
think so.
No, it's a lot
like-
cheaper. A
it's
lot
like-
cheaper.
like
a lot
the
cheaper.
non-foil is like $12. I think.
Oh, okay.
The foil's 30.
Okay.
I trade the.
The-
I managed to
And,
trade for that.
Yeah.
The foil was like 45 back in Opus 2 days.
At one
Yeah.
point, it was the most
Yeah.
expensive
Yeah.
card. in the
Yeah.
game.
Like I've got no idea like how much each of these cards are.
Mm.
Yeah,
Alright.
No, but like even like probably the most expensive is like Zidane and Maria. To be honest,
Mm.
everything like
Yeah.
Minerva maybe you can just cut that. You don't.
Yeah,
need
like
that.
Minerva is not always in the deck.
She's not an essential piece. Like
No.
the bulk of the deck is relatively inexpensive.
Mm.
Like this Minerva's only been in it for like one game like set, like one tournament thing. Before, like I said, it was just another Onion Knight, White
And
Onion Knight.
It could really be any of the things you have two of as
Yeah.
well. Like
Yeah.
a third Zidane, a third Ishtola, a third Edge, a third Tsukinawa even.
Yeah, like Minerva, like it was just like you, Jared. Like it just makes things bigger. Just surprised me. Like it's a big thing in itself. So you have a
Yeah,
blocker.
it's a card that like if your opponents have had to spend over the course of the game removal dealing with all these little things.
Yeah.
For you to like just go, all right, well now because you generate all those backups early, you
Yeah.
just go, all right, well here's my Minerva.
And like
It can win a game on its own even. Just
Yeah.
like it's a
And it's like,
a 10k
now I'm
guy.
playing 3 things a turn.
and because like I normally have so many backups, like even if it does get Leviathaned, it's like, oh I draw 2 cards as long as one's on Onion Knight, which like recently it probably is. I play it back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, like I'll just draw my 2 cards and play it again.
Yeah,
Use
yeah.
double Leviathan on it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Leviathan, like like doesn't really phase you.
Yeah, because the
Like-
nice thing other than maneuvers too.
Yeah.
But you would still Leviathan Yuffie if you had no way to deal with it.
I have Leviathan usually.
We've said you're going to be in a position eventually where you have to deal with it. All these little evasive forwards eventually need to be answered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the name of this deck again?
Yuffie and the Wannabes.
The wannabes.
Just because like when you Shimazai, everything is at worst to Yuffie.
Yeah.
Except a 3-drop Chocobo from Opus 1.
And this deck doesn't
Yeah.
run a free drop.
What about Minerva?
Oh, Minerva's not a Yuffie.
It's a monster.
Yeah, it's a monster. It's equivalent to a
Minerva
monster.
can sneak underneath Golbez
Yes, it's
and
possible.
Sephiroth and Kefka.
Yeah.
And
So it's, if you had any of those in here, actually Kefka could be an interesting inclusion because you might end up with just like expendable dudes.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, one other thing that's really funny with this guy, because normally when I hold cards, I think it's happened to all of you at this point. Like, you think it's a Shimazai.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But it's like, so you try to deal with it, okay, I play my 1-drops. Okay. Well, I can play 2-drops to block your edge and things like that. Okay.
Yes,
I
sir.
draw. And I had just for like Yuffie Maria.
Yeah.
Everyone got on board.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, I'm okay for that.
No, actually another card I thought of, Cactuar. Cactuar will go get in here.
It's just another burn thing.
Yeah.
just another-
And it can just kill a thing.
Yeah.
And you're like almost always winning the damage race, with this
Yeah.
thing, so it doesn't matter that you're taking damage.
Yeah.
That's a really good consideration.
Yeah. One
I
other
mean,
thing.
if you kill everything, you're probably doing 3 damage for taking
One other fun thing that's happened with the stick is I just had Yuffie out at one point, and they had to use like a Cyclops on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is why I had Saurus, so I had Sylph in the deck.
Yeah.
I buff Sylph. I buff with Sylph.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's play another Cyclops just to deal with the Yuffie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's an expensive trade. as well.
Yeah.
I presume you just dollar back up to pay for that.
Yeah.
Oh look, you've had to discard 2 cards at least.
Yeah.
You've used 2 Cyclops on my 1 Yuffie, and I played another one.
And yeah, here's the follow-up.
Yeah.
Time for an encore.
Yeah.
Or here's Izana, I get like Izana's one of the ways I get like multiple things out at once. It's like Izana, Black Chocobo, play.
Because if you draw Izana and something, you can just play 3 things at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
It's,
So I think,
what
yeah.
I like this, what like the thing that I like about this, that this deck can exist in this game is it's a good indication that the mono-color or mono-element decks now, there's just such a great variety in what you can put together. I mean, you see quite a few different mono-wind decks that all have a fundamentally different game plan.
Yeah. Like the mono deck I played most recently, I'd made another one, like just rushed one out. I was like, I don't want to play the Sephiroth. I'll make it mono wind.
Oh wow.
And
Kill your own Aerith.
yeah, that was one of the things I couldn't do.
That's a win condition, though. If you kill your own Aerith, the opponent has to forfeit.
And like one of the things I really wanted to do, like, was because I put Fear Barbarisha that was basically mass number. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I really want to do this to someone. I really want to do this to
Yeah.
someone. So it's like, and I mentioned it in one game, like Dancer, Barbarisha, your board is wiped, and you for 5.
Yeah.
Like,
That was you called it Raigeki, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
As in, like the Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah.
Destroy all your opponent's monsters.
Yeah.
Or forwards in this game. We spent more time talking about the stick than the dick takes to play.
Okay.
You could probably have done a best of 3.
Yes, that's very accurate.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks for watching, guys. This is the last episode of the season. Next time it's gonna be season 2. But like our Facebook page on MogPod Gaming, where we post meme Mondays and we released the podcast episode earlier on there. And also subscribe to MogPod Gaming on the YouTube channel, where we post 2 Final Fantasy TCG videos every week. And that's it. Everyone want to say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah. Number 1 Potato Boss, out.